Welcome back to Kinda Funny's DCEU in review. That's right, we are ranking and reviewing every movie in the DC Extended Universe. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
Is Greg frozen? Nah, he's chicken.
I'm just fucking around, bro.
He's
I'm here.
chicken.
We got the frozen man, Greg Miller.
Hi, I'm frozen. Brr.
Yeah, you in chilly. We have the big dog, Kevin Coelho.
Hey, I'm pretty warm. I just took a shower. It was hot.
The producer slash seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Not impressed, Tim.
I don't get it.
You
He got
remember
a
this
rug. He
movie
got a rug
when
in a mirror.
Superman.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
He
when
gets hit with a
by the
giant
thing.
axe.
Yeah,
remember
Gotcha.
remember the best line in the other movie where he's like, "I believe in truth," and I'm a big fan of justice, whatever it was. Greg, you probably know it better than me. And I was like, God, that's a good fucking line. They should keep that for this one. No, they threw it out.
Today we're talking about the Justice League Snyder Cut, the second half. This is chapters 5, 6, and the epilogue, along with our final ranking. We did a review of parts 1 through 4 that you can find now, just like this show, on youtube.com/kindafunny.
It's a breezy 2 hours and 40 minutes.
How long will this one be? Let's see. Strap in, everybody. You can strap in on roosterteeth.com, or you can check your favorite podcast service for Kinda Funny reviews, and we'll be right there for you. If you want to get the show ad-free and watch live as we're recording it, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunny, just like the nanobiologist and Sven McHale did. Thank both of you very, very much. I want to get right into it. Nick, you've now finished the movie.
I have.
What do you think?
Overall, I can honestly say, just top level, that I think it's better than the theatrical release. I think the second half was a lot more fun, and it kind of delivered on a lot of the action that I was hoping I would have seen more for the first couple hours of the movie. And then we get to the epilogue, and it's really weird. But overall, I think that they made some, again,
really
same thing that we were talking about last time, where it's like there's a lot of couple steps forward, one step back in this one. But I enjoyed the second part of the Zack Snyder cut a lot more than the first part.
Kevin, what do you think?
I mean, I agree with Nick. I enjoy this cut better than the last cut. But like, this isn't a movie, like we've said before, where it's like we wouldn't have, if we were like, hey, it's a 4-hour movie that's about Justice League. I don't think any of us would have gone to well, Greg would have. Greg would have gone there and thought about how amazing it was.
Could have been there with it.
But the rest of
dressed
us,
up, man.
yeah. Well, I would have gone if we all dressed up. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
God,
First off,
and I
Kevin,
would've-
you would have
when
gone no
Martian
matter what,
Manhunter-
because Kevin's down to party.
That's true. I am down to party. I
Kevin
liked
needs to
it.
party.
I liked it. I thought it was.
Are you cooler on it than you were yesterday? Because yesterday with part 1, you seemed high on it.
Surprisingly, I'm not.
You're not
Cooler
down
on
on
it?
it?
Cooler
You're
on
not
it. I'm not cooler on it.
Both ways.
I'm
What?
still just
No,
as
you
hot.
can't.
But like, I want to preface
But you
that.
see, are you just tie now? What's happening?
surprised
Yeah,
you
there's a lot of
You
ties.
know,
Right?
real
You didn't
bad
even let me
job
start
explaining.
Games Daily or whatever. You're like, ooh, it was a good movie, Greg. We got to talk about it. And I like, I want to go see it if it was in the theater.
I'm just saying, like, it's like I like it way more than Josh Wheaton's.
Yep.
No? Yeah, I got there.
Yeah, we.
Josh Wheaton. Good old Josh
I thought we were
Wheaton.
pulling. I was like, what? Kevin's been talking on Twitter to a Josh
All
about
right,
this
all
movie.
right, my bad. I'm screwing up. Yeah, no, I like it better than that movie. But is it a good movie on its own? I don't know. It's not really a movie. It feels more of like a weird, bigger thing, but not a show.
Kevin, I feel you. It's kind of like a
Thank
cheat
you, Andy.
code. It's kind of like a cheat code to say that, like, Zack Snyder did it, but it's like he had to do a lot of other things to actually do it. I thought the second half was so much fun. I had a fucking blast with the second half. As soon as that chapter starts, it like we're off and running, and I am seldomly rolling my eyes at things and at moments. And Aquaman's moment of going,
My man.
no, not even that. The all right.
Yeah.
Is now followed up by Wonder Woman saying, Kal-El, he's here. You know, like, there are so many moments that now make sense when they are cut in the way that they were supposed to be cut. And I had an absolute blast. The action sequences I thought were awesome. And then and again, they didn't feel corny or bad. I like that the whole final sequence, the final fight is at nighttime. I preferred that to
That was
the
much
other sort of
better.
weird
Much
lighting
better.
thing that
Yeah.
Whedon was doing. I don't know. I had an absolute blast with it. I think it definitely makes it a redeemable movie for sure. Now we had to go through a lot of bullshit to get there. I didn't enjoy a lot of the first half, but I think the second half totally makes this a really fun superhero movie.
I enjoy. Or Greg, go for it.
I mean, I'm in the same place as I was yesterday. I was grading more on a whole because I had seen the whole thing. I really like it. I really enjoy it. I think the second half is great. I enjoy what they do here. I enjoy where it goes. You know, literally right before this, well, not now, I guess 20 minutes ago, I was watching the epilogue just to make sure I watched the entire second half again, but I was like speeding through it and stuff just to make sure. I was like, wait, what happened here? What happened here? Like the amount of times I stopped and just let it play because I was like, oh, well, this is a good moment. Oh, well, I like this line of dialogue. Oh, I want to see this interaction. And then the epilogue in general, I let just play the entire time because I really like it. But yeah, I really like it.
I'm so happy for you,
It's-
Greg. I can't believe you actually got this. I agree with everybody that the second half is significantly more entertaining than the first half. I think that you guys are a little higher on it than I am because I still think that there's a lot of things that I'm just like, this movie's too complex for me, where I feel like there's so many things that if they just focused on any of the one or two or three complex ideas that it has, it would work really well. But adding the rewinding time and all that stuff, which to me is really interesting and cool as just another factor on top of the rest of it, kind of creates weird moments for me where, yeah, it's cool seeing Flash run fast and beat run faster than
Dad,
Break your rule. Break
this
your
one's
one
for
rule.
you, Dad.
but then he does it again. You know, it's like
faster
we always
this
talk
time.
about Superman, punch harder. It's like Flash, run faster. And then, okay, cool, I did it. What do I do the next time? Run faster than you did last time. And
But
it's
that
like,
is his
holy
gimmick.
shit, they actually
but,
did this.
But it's definitely one of those things where, like, in a Flash movie, that would have been the climax. That would have been the point. That would have been all the culmination of Flash's whole journey up into that point. And in this, he just has a one throwaway line where he's like, I gotta be honest with you guys, when I run really fast, weird shit
Time
happens
gets
with
weird.
time. And I'm like, if I were
Let's unpack that. Wait a second, Barry. Let's stop, Barry. What does that mean?
What? You can run back in fucking time?
Barry's like, listen, the last time I did it, before I did it, Aquaman, you were this white guy. Then I did this
It's
run, and now you're Jason Momoa. I don't know, man. This is how it is.
One of us was taller. I'll just say that.
Years ago, we watched Batman v Superman, and Flash has a weird moment when he comes back and like, did it actually happen? Was that a weird nightmare? Oh, the papers were flying, so it must be real. But it's like, was that Flash? It didn't really look like him. He had a weird mustache. I don't really know what the fuck's going on. And it's one of those things that over time we talk about it, we hear what the director says and stuff that explains it all. And then this movie, much more so, Bruce is like, yeah, that happened here. And it's like, okay. And then we see him run through the Time Force and all that stuff. And it's like, this is pretty cool, but
No, but
I guess I want a Flash movie then. Like, I want you to kind of like focus on this and like tell this story. Justice League Snyder Cut specifically kind of feels like not only is it not finishing the story totally that like in a comprehensible way that I was missing from the first one, it's also adding all of this nightmare stuff that Batman v Superman did, where it's like, okay, Justice League answers the problems of Batman v Superman. So now all this nightmare stuff is we may or may not ever get. And it's like, maybe if it was throughout the movie a bit more, it would make more sense. But it kind of like where it's at as an end cap, it's just like, are you, what? The draw between this, the connection was Martian Manhunter, who we get a scene of in the middle of the movie as Martha. I don't know.
No, I mean,
What's up,
Tim,
Nick?
I think you're super right, and I think that, I mean, listen, I think this movie clarifies a lot of the stuff that was wrong with the first one, but it still doesn't make it. It still doesn't make it a very, very cohesive experience. It feels like Zack Snyder is just sort of like, kind of trying to plug the dam everywhere he possibly can, but then when you pull out the bigger picture, you're like, oh no, it's still fucking flooding. Like there's still lots of different problems with this that we can point to. One of the disappointing things for me, though, is that he was so kind of dead set on making his cut, which I respect because that's the whole point of this whole thing, right? He could have used some of the other stuff that Whedon had filmed, and I think overall the product would have been better. But I get that the whole point of this is, hey, this was my original vision, so take it or leave it, good or bad, here's where it is. But a perfect example of what I'm talking about is I really, really, really liked the part in the theatrical cut where he's like bringing the big gun, right? Batman thought ahead and was like,
totally.
the last ditch effort. If he fucking goes nuts, is that we bring in Lois, his one real connection to humanity, right? I guess you could bring in Martha too, but that gets confusing. Who's Martha are we going to bring in? Am I right?
Are you my Martha?
Are you Martha? Who's Martha?
No,
I
your
can't
Martha's
remember.
dead.
You can't use the
like,
MacGuffin twice
40
unless you're
years.
Flash.
So there's that, right? And I brought up the truth lines, things like that. Like there's just those little moments where that kind of lightened Superman a little bit. I think they could have put in here more, but that scene kind of fell flat for me a little bit because, you know, Lois just kind of shows up on her own, and I thought that would have been a good moment for Batman. But I don't know. I think, I understand what Kevin's talking about here, where it's like we do get 4 hours and we get a lot of the stuff, but it's just at the end of it, I still have a ton of questions as to what the hell's going on with this reality later in life, and I wish I just don't. It's just not set up at all.
For me,
But
the
that's the
biggest thing
problem,
when it
right?
comes to Justice League and the Snyderverse as a whole is that I know people are going to have their opinions on my opinions, but at the end of the day, where this all starts from is these are not the stories that I like being told about these DC characters. I don't like seeing Batman in a giant mech spider. Like, that's too advanced of a Batman for me. I like the more smaller scale stuff, and him working with Justice League, traditionally he has to, you know, kind of power level up a bit, but then I want to see the people around him kind of doing things that are a bit more my taste. And from Batman versus Superman on, that has not been the case. I think Man of Steel was a little bit more like 50-50, but even then, like, Superman's not really in this movie that much, and when he is, it's not that interesting. And like that, it's the only part of this movie I can say is boring and a drag over the whole 4 hours is the Superman Lois stuff. It's just kind of like, all right.
So I like that because I think, again, to my earlier point, like I think some of that worked better for me, right? When he takes her and doesn't know what's going on, but he recognizes her and he flies off and she takes him back to the farm to help him figure this stuff out.
He takes her there.
He takes her there. That part to me, I was like, this to me is working more. It's a lot more heartfelt. I like that they're spending more time together. I like that he's coming back to it, right? It's when he finally remembers that he's Superman. And then he's like, I guess I should go figure out why they brought me back from the fucking dead. That's the point where I'm like, the guy can fly around the world. And we've seen him literally fly out into the sky and listen and hear trouble and just go for it, right? Maybe not in
Dope
this one,
shot
but
in
that's
this one of him going up.
Right, goes up, and I'm thinking, oh shit, he's gonna go up and he's gonna look at fucking Cracovia or wherever they're supposed to be,
We're gonna keep calling
and he's
it
gonna
Chernobyl.
just boom, go straight there. No, he goes to fucking Alfred's house first, and is like, "Hey man, you're Alfred, right?" He's like, "Master Cat." He's like, "What's going on, man?" He's like, "Oh, crazy."
Hey, man.
You got a second?
Yo,
Crazy
there's a long
story,
movie
man.
that you need to watch. Like, this is the extended cut, and there's like a whole bunch of other ones. There's sequels that like
Right.
are actually
And
important
see,
too.
And that's
But
what I
that's
liked
like the
about-
double-edged sword, though, right, Nick? Where
In
if
what
he was
way?
to fly up there or fly around the world and find it, oh, Superman's too powerful. This is boring. Like they want, like he has to have that moment with Martha and Lois of like, this is awesome, and I'm back, but they need me. Like clearly, there's a reason.
absolutely.
They brought me back,
That's
and
what
I
I'm
need to
saying.
go find that.
What I'm saying is, with the way the movie's cut, is that we see Superman come back, right? And then we see the Justice League getting all together, right? And then we see Superman go to the farm. And then we see the Justice League go. And then we see Superman hanging out with Lois and putting on a fucking shirt that he used to wear. And she's like, "This used to be your favorite shirt." He's like, "I like the feel of this shirt." I'm like, and then the Justice League
Dude,
starts to fight.
I'm sorry. Did you need a song? We could have got you a song there.
No,
where
no,
this
no,
is
no, no, no.
Clockwork Jonathan's old
I don't
shit.
need the song. I'm just saying, editing wise, it feels like Superman could have joined the fight about 30 minutes earlier, right? They
Well, that's the
break
thing, right?
through-
When Steppy puts together the boxes, I was like, oh fuck, I didn't think they were gonna do it. And then he's like, all right, now I gotta wait for him to synchronize. I'm like, oh man. As they like spin around, like they're fucking cubes, they're boxes, they're all they're
It's the
squares.
the internet's real bad in Chernobyl, Greg.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I love
So-
that scene too. It's like with the editing, it's just like this truly
That's
is the
real
vision
bad.
that has absolutely no cuts at all. Where he's just like, they're synchronizing, they're
Can I get a Coke?
joining.
Can I get a soda?
Right.
It's like they say it in two different ways. It's like you're not supposed to keep both of those takes in there. Like choose
Right.
one line.
Well, that was also the thing too, going back to the dream that he has, right? Where like in the script, she's like, "What's wrong, Bruce?" And he's like, "Oh, I had a weird dream last night. We didn't see him sleeping. We didn't see him waking up from the dream. At no point have we seen Bruce Wayne near a bed in this whole thing either. He's just like, I had a weird dream. Oh, what was it about? And I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna cut to the dream, right? I just had a weird. And he says this
What are you talking
incredibly
about?
complex.
The
That
dream
when
was
he's talking to
in-
Diana.
But the
Everybody's
dream was
talking
in,
at once.
in another movie, right?
Yeah, it was Batman v
Yes.
Superman. He's talking about being in
He
the
had
chair and
dreamed,
having
like,
Flash come to him
Oh,
and
okay.
say BVS.
I apologize. That was in the other movie. I thought they cut that out of this movie. My bad. My bad.
You're fine. No, you're fine. You're fine.
I was confused about it too.
No, but why Nick is confused is because it sounded like he had just woken up and
Oh, I
remembered
thought
this
that
dream.
was the dream he was referencing. Did he have another dream?
No,
No, he was referencing BVS. He was referencing
Yeah.
BVS.
that was in a different movie. That dream.
Yeah,
I'm so confused.
and
was right.
it's
Maybe,
not
like-
it's not great. It's not great right there, Nick. I totally agree because
So wait,
when
he
I
had the
first
dream with
see
Flashpoint coming back in Batman v Superman, and then he waited 3 months and then told Diana that he had that dream.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, he also. didn't
The
meet
idea is that
Diana
he's sitting
until 3
back in
months
that
later.
chair, and it's also as he talks about it, right in the moment, right, of like, she's like, "What is going on?" He's like, "I had this dream. Barry Allen came back to me, and he said Lois is the key." And Diana's like, "You're right. She was the key to Superman." And he's like, "Nah, it's something else. It's something darker." I mean, I'm just
okay.
telling you how it plays out. I mean,
No,
I think,
that-
and why he's
that makes no sense.
sitting there processing it at that moment is the fact we're all united.
That makes
I think I've achieved what this guy wanted me to do, but it doesn't feel like I did.
it's just in the way that Ben Affleck acts it out. It seems like he had just woken up from like he dozed off in the seat.
Yeah,
There
that's literally.
sitting in
That's,
the bed.
Papers are
I
flying
literally
behind
thought they cut the dream sequence out of this because how you would normally do it is he wakes up from the dream and someone goes, "What just happened?" He goes, "Oh, craziest story," but the audience already knows because we've seen the dream. As opposed to him just saying, "I had a fucking weird dream like 2 months
That's
ago."
the-
I feel like I got to
the-
tell someone about it. You're
Yeah.
here. Let's talk.
As much
We
as
had
we're
the
talking about
unintentional hand touch on the mouse.
the
Let's
4
go for
hours
it.
we're talking about here, right? And how I think it's not unfair at all. It's the opinion of the movie and yada yada yada. But to be like, oh, nothing. They introduce new questions. They don't explain them here, right? Again, this is something they talked about in the run up here and press tour for launch day with Snyder. Of like, he's like, this is my vision of the movie and what the movie was supposed to be, and there were supposed to be more movies. So I'm just giving you what I would have given you, right? And that's. I think even as much as we're talking about this movie and this cut in particular being a work of art or it being what did you call it? Artistic, an art film, an art house film, right, Tim? That's what you're calling it in V1.
I said art.
I think he said
Okay.
art.
Art doesn't
it's-
need to be good.
Sure, of course. And it's Eye of the Beholder shit too. Anyway, it's the idea that even though we're talking about that here, I think that's also the step back of the entire way he's done Man of Steel, BVS, this, and what would have been Justice League and the one after that, right? Was the idea that he was thinking of the whole time of, and I think I'm getting this right. Chat, tell me if I'm wrong. With a 5-picture deal, it was going to be right. It was going to be 5, not 4. There was one after Justice League. I forget at this point. It's been too many years. But this idea, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying I think that's why like there's all these weird things introduced here that weren't going to be the end of it, right? And that like they're calling back to BVS and not making you see the dream again. Is that they're expecting it to be in his mind? It is one. What would that have even been? The 27-hour picture or whatever. And I'm just throwing that out there.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah,
It's just unclear.
I misunderstood that
most.
point. Yeah.
I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing that fact.
Are we all frozen?
What just happened? No, Tim. I think.
I want to see if we can all freeze. Kevin, I wanted to ask you a question. A second ago, Nick
Yeah,
was
it was
saying
five.
that
5 movies. Thanks for being in the chat.
I forget exactly the words you used, but you said that like it is clear. And the question I want Kevin to explain is how is Lois the key?
Lois is gonna die in the future. Superman's gonna go bad, right?
Did they do an
You see that
episode of
here.
the animated show? Or a
Well, no,
movie
you
about
see that. At one point, Superman
When
is
Cyborg's getting dialed into the box,
Yeah.
he gets his own vision of the future. Sorry,
and
Kevin's
it
supposed to
kind
answer my
no, go ahead. And it looks like Cyborg is seeing Superman in what kind of looks like the Ark, right? Holding a burning
Batcave.
body with long hair,
right?
and he's upset about it. So it's
Right.
either his mom or Lois Lane, and since we know Lois Lane is the key, and then he goes bad. Right, so
That's
Greg, how much
that's
of
been
that
a st-
is your vision of it?
I mean, that's what Zack Snyder said. What's supposed to happen here is that Darkseid kills Lois Lane in the Batcave. Superman shows up too late, blames Batman. Superman shows up too late, blames Batman for this. If you look, you see Robin's suit in the back of this, and they're in the cave. He's holding the body.
Makes more sense.
That's also when Darkseid uses the anti-life equation on Superman to get him. And Andy, where is the most egregious piece of reused footage?
I couldn't tell you because I ended up
When
watching that part of
Darkseid-
the review.
it was when they used the same clip of Batman shooting the guys in the gun like 5 times.
Nah,
Because
it's
that
when
happened a lot.
Darkseid puts his hand on Superman crying. It's from right after Superman snaps Zod's neck in Man of Steel.
He puts it on the shoulder. That looked really bad.
And so that's him
scene
giving the
looked
anti-life
bad.
equation, or about to, and take control of him, which then sets off the nightmare future. And so then what's happening with the epilogue, and this is again explained from Zach, right, is that even before the epilogue, we understood that the idea here was that everybody's working towards. Batman realizes all too late that fuck, Lois Lane is the key. I can't let her die. I have to go back and sacrifice myself there. And so that's what they're doing on this thing, is that they're all pushing forward. And I'm sorry, this thing being the epilogue. The whole motley crew of people here is pushing forward to get back to getting there's one mother box that'll be in the future, I believe, because these are all broken now, or whatever it is, to then make a cosmic treadmill to send Barry back to be able to send Batman back to go die in that place. Or to go back in time to die.
Hold on, but like, what I understood, and I've read none of that stuff, is that line from the epilogue where it's like, how many people have to die till you like stop? It's like, oh, okay,
Timeline
clearly
stuff,
Batman like fucked up and needs to sacrifice himself to save.
Yeah.
Right? I mean that also was clear too, right?
Yeah, I mean, all that
totally.
stuff, all that stuff came through.
The reason I was asking that is that because it's weird to me that there's two reasons that it's bad. Lois is the key because Lois dies, so Superman turns bad, but then Darkseid has to use the anti-life equation to turn him bad. What turned him bad? Lois dying or Darkseid? Or did Darkseid only be able to turn him bad because Lois died?
My interpretation, and I don't know if Zach's given a point for point breakdown of that thing, would be that when Darkseid shows up and puts his hand on his shoulder, Superman's in mourning and has that momentary, like, what the fuck, like, what did Bruce do? I think it's more the Darkseid, I think at this point blames somehow, if memory serves, Bruce gets blamed for Lois getting killed.
Like, I wasn't even here.
It opens the door for Darkseid to use the anti-life equation on him.
Yeah, that's where I assumed that he broke mentally, you know?
Yeah.
Also, just for a moment, I'd like to shout out the Darkseid, the shooting the rays and
Yeah.
Oh, dude, his Omega
It's
Blast.
weird.
Come on.
It's weird that how they did it. I didn't love that it was like underwater when they were doing it. I'm like, oh, that would have been so much cooler. I thought that was going to come into play during the first part when he was fighting like all the gods and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was waiting for it there. When they didn't do it, I was like, huh. And then when
rad.
they did it there, I was like, that's cool.
It looked dope though. It looked really cool.
Cool.
So that all I guess makes sense, but and I understand that we're obviously like, you know, we're dealing with what could have been. All that sounds cool, but it would have been way cooler if it was like this movie and then that happened in a movie and then the next movie after that was we have to go back in time and fix this. So like it's just so weird. And I understand that a lot of this was going to play out over 5 movies, and he's sort of just trying to triage it a little bit as the projects do what they do in Hollywood, which is sometimes fall apart, sometimes get consolidated, yada yada yada. But it just this project still feels to me standard Zack Snyder, which is like, let's fix the plane while it's in the air. Let's just kind of throw some stuff in there that'll make it cool and put more toppings on the pizza. And it's still at the end of the day, this 4 hours is a fascinating, enjoyable experience. But I think to Tim's like very first point yesterday was like, is it good? Is it a good movie? Is it a good experience? I can't say I was bored. That's for sure. I don't think at any point I was like,
I love that this exists and that there are streaming platforms that are going to change how movies are made and TV is made and all this stuff, and things like this can happen, and there doesn't need to be a reliance on a necessity of a certain box office number and X, Y, and Z. That's going to come with a lot of cons as well, but I do think that this is a huge first foray into what this could potentially be.
It's interesting. For sure, you're going to get like when there are movies that are polarizing, you're probably going to get a bigger swells for this now because the proof's in the pudding. If people bark enough about it, they can get a cool cut like this. But
release the Ayer cut.
The Ayer cut?
Suicide Squad.
For Suicide Squad?
I'm still waiting for that Missed Out Fire cut, man.
The NC-17 one?
It's coming.
One thing I think that's interesting to point out here as we debate if it's a good movie or if it's a good experience or were you bored or whatever. In my standalone 10-minute spoiler-free review or whatever, right, I talked in it, and it was right off a few hours of sleep and then right into it, right? And so I was still processing a lot of it there. And one of the things I was talking about is like, I like this movie a lot. I don't know if I love it, and I don't think I do or whatever. Yeah. And I caught a lot of grief in comments and on Twitter about that. I'm like, Greg, it's okay to admit you love this, yada yada. And I'm like, no, you're missing my point.
I loved Batman v Superman, bro. I'm not worried about it. I'm not scared.
I didn't. Don't do that. You know that Batman v Superman was a good movie.
What I'm saying is you're not afraid to love something just because if it's not popular.
But that's my thing is concept. Like I'm saying, especially knowing for so many people what my words mean and what they carry in terms of a thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever. I don't know, that sounds weird, but I don't have a god complex. But I'm saying that I know that if I say something's good, guess what? I fucking loved it, and now for the rest of my life, I go, "Why did you fucking love that movie?" Like I think watching it again, but more importantly, watching Spider-Man: Homecoming in between it is like literally like night and day. where like from the moment Homecoming begins all the way through to the credits, I'm like, I fucking love this movie. I love the performances. I love the story. I love the colors, the characters, the twists, the turns, and everything else like
A little
that.
too high on the MCU list. That's fine.
You're a fucking crazy person, Andy, and that's
Show your
why I
camera
voted
off.
for years to
Swallow
have
your
you get off
sweatshirt.
of In Review. You know what I mean? Get off of In Review.
Eddie, this is what killed KFAF.
Don't
Exactly.
turn into a villain again, guys. It's too soon for this.
And so then, coming back and watching this again over 2 days, I think Tim nails it. Where I think this is art, and it's very much like you're gonna come in and take it. And I think it's fascinating. I think it's interesting. I think it's definitely head scratching at times and all these different things. But it's not what you would sit down and say is a superhero movie, and that's good. I'm glad that exists. I'm glad people are doing that. I wish I was still getting a fucking normal Superman movie at some point, but again, I got Superman Lois, and I can't bitch.
I mean, I still stand by the fact that I know that they would never do this because you'd have to spend another like $40 to $70 million on it. But I think there's a pretty decent cut somewhere in between these two. I think if you took all the good things from the theatrical release and all the stuff that got clarified and like some of the action, there's a lot of good stuff in this. So I don't want to come off like I'm totally super negative on this, but I would love to see a 2.5 hour cut of both of these things together, where someone that's totally impartial, who's not in either camp, which is probably impossible right now. Blessing Jr. sits down and goes, I'm going to take everything to craft a simple story out of this and just tell like a 2.5 hour long movie. I think you get something pretty cool out of it. But
more importantly, I think for especially where they're leaving this, and especially off the pop this has gotten, I'm excited to see what happens next. I do not in any way, shape, or form think you're getting another Zack Snyder movie, but I wouldn't think it's beyond possibility you're either getting an couple animated films to see this through, with them hopefully bringing Henry Cavill in to be Superman's voice and shit like that, or you get a comic book that actually is like, here's where this would have gone.
Sure.
Yeah,
Totally. But I wouldn't be surprised.
That
if
would
they
make
do
too
a
much
movie.
sense though for DC Comics.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point Zack Snyder gets more like influence or whatever on Flashpoint what is it called, Flashpoint, or is it?
There's
Flash?
calling it the Flash. There's calling it the Flash.
Yeah,
so far
of the Flash.
I mean, they'll definitely get a subhead and everything.
I mean, it doesn't make sense for this movie to be what it was, and then know that one of the upcoming DC movies is Ezra Miller as the Flash dealing with this stuff, and have it not connect to this. But I don't know. I've said that
you never
before.
know. Like it's actually, I mean, I have to imagine that some of this is going to be accountants in the back end going like, hey, this worked really well for us, so Zach, let's give Zach some more work to do, right? Like someone's.
I'm interested in how well it's going to do.
Well. Me too, right? Because when you talked about the financials of the first one, I didn't realize that. I mean, I guess I had realized at the time, but I hadn't thought about it in a while that it wasn't the financial success that they wanted it to be. And so it's going to be so weird to see what this does for HBO Max and what that means, the grander ramifications of that in the industry.
Totally. Let's get to the plot, Andy.
Here we go.
Andy.
Here we go. This one's
Please play the Indiana Jones plot song.
this one's a little bit more emotional. Everybody out there.
Oh, good.
The plot, there's no shot, it's not longer than 2 hours. Go ahead, Greg.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the second part of the plot of Zack Snyder's Justice League. We begin with part 5, All the King's Horses. I'm excited to hear what you guys had to say, because this is where we actually left off yesterday, talking about how weird and off-tone Cyborg and Flash digging up Superman was in the Whedon cut. What was everybody's take of Cyborg and Flash digging up in the Snyder cut?
Cackled out loud. Couldn't believe it was still there, man. They fucking did it. I thought that was a Whedon shot for sure.
I mean, it was worth it for she's 3,000-year-old Barry. Like everybody's a younger man there.
Yeah,
like that's like the only thing it was worth it for. And then they also mentioned, we could do this in like a nanosecond, right?
Yeah.
like,
I
don't understand.
I think out of respect for the
it was respect.
Yeah.
It was
respect.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
you're
if
free
we
to
do it
freak
slower,
out.
There's more respect.
I mean, they're in a graveyard digging up a dead body. I think it was very much that they were trying to be like, as much as you could be revering the space. That's what I took away from it. Because it was that thing of like, I could do this in a nanosecond, and Cyborg gives him the look of like, and then it's this conversation of, he's my hero, and they start talking a little bit about him as they dig him up.
I think, I read that as respect. Hey, this is a difficult thing. We don't, I don't know.
I thought they would want to
it
get in
kinda
and out
worked
of there
for me.
as quickly as possible.
To respect the other people that aren't being brought back to life. Yeah,
That's fair. I mean, hey, maybe.
Why do we
maybe
dig
it's
up
like
everybody
this.
and bring them back and toss the cube in with them?
Maybe it's down to like when you do move fast, it's dirtier. You get dirt all over the place, you know.
Sure.
And so you don't want to
Headcanon. I like that, Nick. You know
Kevin-
what? I'm gonna stick with that.
stick
I
with
also noticed that
Headcanon. I
Henry
love
Cavill
that
looked
term.
really clean. Was he a little too clean?
He's super. He first off, it is a little.
Corpses with Kevin knows
got
about
lots of
corpses.
them in my
like this.
basement.
I don't like this. I don't like any of that. Just to be clear.
Don't check my basement.
No, stop, Nick. You have to
This is
imagine
hate one.
it's bubbly water, right? Don't double down, Nicholas.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's bubbly water, right? Like the it's not water they're putting him in. It's soapy. It's cleaning him. It's cleaning him.
Well, no. When they take him out, he's like he hasn't degraded at all. And Greg,
Oh,
is
but
that
we
like
don't
a-
see
is
him.
that-
He's
is that
all,
'cause he's
he's all
alien?
fuzzy. No. It takes a while to break down when you're.
Well,
in a
he's only
box.
been in there, so yeah, I was gonna say he's only been.
Yeah.
I mean, you assume they did the normal thing and drained his blood and did all the chloroform and shit, and your body, yeah, Kevin, that part I do know that.
And then
I don't need
Omega
Kevin for
and the
this. I've seen
Buster-
it. I've seen a 6 months later corpse. All right, trust me.
They
it's gonna be
probably
fine.
didn't
Omega
drain his blood
Buster in the
considering
chat.
it can't pierce his skin.
It says
Would that
bacteria
be-
can't harm Superman.
True.
Not a bad call.
That's
He's
actually
got a
that
gaping hole
actually
in his
does make a
chest,
lot
right?
more sense because bacteria probably couldn't get through like the toughness of
yeah,
the skin.
there would be a
right?
gaping hole in his chest, but they covered
Big
that. He's
old
wearing
hole.
clothes.
How would
Yeah,
the people at the
once you put
funeral
the
home be like?
tie in front of it.
I mean, are you gonna do the how do we do the chloroform? This is nothing we've ever seen before.
Head
It's like
cannon,
Andy-
Batman took care of it. Batman took care of
his
it.
Andy, they're on-
lungs
they're
are
on-
where his bladder should be.
They're on try 5 of trying to stab it with the needle. It's like, fuck it, let's just go to Wendy's. Like, can we just put the thing about it?
Toss
No
him
one's
the
gonna
fucking
notice.
thing, be done with
Get the
it.
jackhammer.
Meat.
Yeah, as much as you want to laugh at it or whatever, I liked this digging up Superman better than the last time. I thought for me we do this in a nanosecond, at least acknowledge that this was awkward and why are they doing it the way, and then I thought the he's my hero kind of thing worked for what they were doing. Meanwhile, though, while that conversation is happening, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are over at the car not helping out at all. And they're like, man, fucking look at us, an Atlantean and an Amazonian working together. You know, my father had a saying that was like, what? I don't even remember what the fuck it was.
My
It doesn't
human
matter.
father had a saying.
My human father had a saying, right, of like, put the blood in the mud. And she's like, the mud.
Yeah,
I'm like,
put
oh
the
my
blood
God,
in
we
the
have the same fucking thing.
We're more
You know what I mean?
alike
Like,
than we know we are.
Wow.
You can turn a
High
house into
five.
smoke and a smoke into
Can't.
house.
But you
Yeah.
can smoke the house. And when
And
you
then
smoke
he's
the
like-
house, you get real high.
And then he's like, I never thought I'd die fighting alongside an Amazonian. And she's like, what about fighting alongside with a friend? And he goes, I can do that. Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings,
that's Lord of the
everybody. What a
Rings.
moment.
Great.
Fucking movie.
Great movie.
Great
We're
movie.
gonna talk about
Why'd they
weird
make
ass
3 hobbits?
bodies, you know. Back at the cave, Alfred and Bruce are just chilling out there, getting ready for stuff. And this is where Alfred is the first to be like, "Listen, I know your heart's in the right place, but reanimating the dead is weird."
Fucking weird.
I wrote it down. Your guilt's overcome your reason. Like you should probably not bring back this space alien to fight another alien. And Bruce is like, "Nah, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it at all." You know what I mean? So we go back. They put the coffin in the car. They drive that to Metropolis. We meet back up with the heroes outside of the Superman ship, crashing downtown Metropolis. I like this moment here where Barry's gonna go in undercover, so he's trying on the different hats. He's like, Arthur is a friend. Option A or option B? Or option A?
Definitely
he's like,
not
definitely not
option
A. And he puts on B. He's like, let me see A again.
Let me see A again.
I
And see,
appreciate
but like
that.
this is the thing where I'm like, there's some humor, and we don't get humor in Snyder movies, and we got some in the Whedon cut, obviously, right? But this wasn't from that. This was unique to this, and I'm like, okay, like you can do this, like you can make these characters fun, and you know, like there's no moment that I enjoyed Aquaman and Flash more than right there, and I'm like, I would love to see that type.
Totally
of Justice
agree.
League.
Totally agree. That moment, I had a good little chuckle, and I had the exact same feeling of why I want more of this. I don't need you to make a Marvel movie, right? But I want the humor to be like this and not Barry Allen walking into the Batcave when they're all first meeting Alfred, and he's like making these goofy, weird face. It's like, what? You're too much right now, Barry. You're too much.
Dial it
Just
down,
slow
Barry.
down.
This is why your dad killed your mom. You get away from you.
God.
You know what I mean?
Well, no, but I mean, like,
Rick,
like
why?
my son,
Why do
right?
you have to-
Remember at the end of this,
It's a
when Barry
different
comes-
universe. He doesn't know if he's innocent or not.
But you remember when Barry comes in and he slams the paper? He's like, "How do you like them apples, Dad? You told me I couldn't be." He's like, "It's the shittiest job in the fucking, but I'm a cop now."
It's
And
a-
his
this is
dad's
a real
like,
job?
"Yo, my boy's a fucking cop. I'm gonna
Dad
tell
goes
everyone."
crazy.
It's like, Dad, you're in prison still. Dad, you're still in
Fucking,
fucking
they come
prison.
over, they start tasering him to the ground. You're going to Arkham.
Shit,
Your wife murderer. Get out of here.
This guy's gone crazy.
Meanwhile, then, so they all pile into the army truck, and Barry drives it, and they drive up, and the guy checks his ID, and there's nothing, and then the cyborg hacks it, and he puts it in there, and it's like, whew, you're okay. And so they go in there, and they're
Took a little too long for Cyborg to do. Like, what was he doing in the meantime?
Yeah, he didn't know immediately. Like that's what needs
like
to
took
happen.
a little. I mean, he was
got the
able
nuclear
to.
codes, bruh.
He was able to shut down the whole plant in a millisecond.
Yeah.
But trying to do this, Barry Allen's, and and then I do
honestly,
like that.
Andy,
Okay, and he goes, okay. Oh yeah, okay. Like
that
that's
was
a
the
good
dumbest
reaction
part.
from Barry Allen.
You know what reminds me,
Is
Andy, is
it?
like when I have to recreate one of your projects and it takes me a couple seconds to like figure out how you did what you did. I feel like he had to go in and be like, oh,
Seconds,
that's where the picture
sure.
goes. I'm sorry.
Got it. Yeah, I was putting the
Put it
JPEG
there.
in a different area of the website.
You were 720. I was using 1080. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's right.
They all meet up and get into their suits, and they're all having a good time. And Cyborg triggers a contamination breach, and so that sends everybody out of Star Labs. Because inside Star Labs, Silas was back, and he was talking to Ryan, and they're like, "Oh man, it's cool to be back. Let's see all the shit you saw," because they were in quarantine from getting with Steppy and all his cronies. And like I told you, I wasn't sick with alien biomes. Get out of here. And so like, let's look at all this shit we figured out. And then immediately like, blah, blah, contamination. And everybody's like, well, let's peace out. And Silas is like, no, it's impossible. Don't go anywhere. And they're like, we're fucking.
There's no possible way with all of the fucking aliens coming in and out of this place every day that we're contaminated again.
Yeah, a little bit too much of an overreaction from
Yeah, he was like,
I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Man,
what?
he just wants to get it done. And he
Like,
also knows,
when-
I mean, this is Miles fucking Dyson from T2, all
I
right?
know,
He
dude.
knows he's going to die. He's always
my
destined
God,
to
I didn't
die in these
realize that.
facilities.
Really?
You know,
I get so
I will
excited
say
about
before we glossed past one of my favorite parts, and again, it's anytime Batman is Batman, right? And I'm going to start this new podcast with the podcast. Top 10 moments Batman is Batman in this.
Andy, hit the
Andy,
song.
Hit the song.
Top 10 moments Batman is Batman. There's probably only gonna be 2.
This is the second one, ladies and gentlemen, and Andy's spot fucking on because I can't remember any other one. I just love when everyone is like running to the door and Batman just comes from the sky and then like releases the grappling hook and then they all walk in together. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
Batman's
You took that
funny in this
opportunity.
movie. And, like, this is not a criticism. This is like I do enjoy it for the Batman reasons where he's always a little later than everyone else. Like he always just kind of showing up.
He's a human.
Like, yeah, because he's a fucking human. So it's like, you know, everyone else is like flying or running super fast or whatever the fuck Diana's doing. And then you know, we just have Batman later just showing up like, oh shit, oh, you guys fought already? Good. That wouldn't have been good for me.
Oof, I could
Yeah,
not
I
have
feel
done
like-
that. I'm glad you did that for me.
They also make him like stand around a lot of times when they're fighting. You know, like waiting for the ship to come, or like I'm just gonna look down this hole.
It's
Oof.
the right call. It's the
It
right
looks
call.
like, yeah, it looks like
Big
some
drop
shit's
there.
going on. Yeah.
Greg mentioning in the
Steppenwolf's
last
kicking some
episode.
shit.
Greg mentioning in the last episode that he thinks Ben Affleck kind of just looks like a dude in a suit. And I've never felt that more, Greg, than there's a sequence coming up later where Batman drops them all off, right? He drops them off and he's like, all right, do your fucking thing. And he just kind of like walks back to
That's the best impression of him, for sure.
and it just doesn't look like a superhero.
You gotta do,
Like
you gotta
this-
do I got too much. You gotta do this a little bit, where sometimes his face is pushed too far up in the mask, and he's just like, "Oh, it's so uncomfortable."
Yeah, the suit just looks really.
Alfred,
But he
help
also
me.
has like little stubby arms too.
I mean,
it just doesn't look like a superhero. Like
That was
I
one of
don't
the
feel
reasons
safe
why-
with that dude.
He said he didn't want to direct the Batman, right? It was because he was like, it's so impossibly hard to do anything in that suit. It just crushes your soul, and he didn't have any energy like working with it.
It shows. I think it shows, honestly. Because, again, I think he's a great Bruce Wayne in Justice League Snyder Cut, but I don't think he's a good Batman. And I think it's mainly the suit and the look, that throw it all off. However, they all march in with the body, and then Silas is the only one in there, and he's like, oh, it's my son and his friends from school. And then he calls out, and he's like, you know what? Don't worry. There's a huge alien poop in here. You're right. I'll come out, everybody.
It
Everybody
smells
stay
so
out.
bad. It's
Dog,
so
it's
big.
just huge.
It's everywhere.
We found Doomsday's doo-doo. We got to get
It's-
everybody out of here.
Oh, nobody
It's in
cleaned
my
it up. It's been here
wounds.
for a month.
So he goes outside with everybody. And then they start walking him in. And I thought it was cool where they have the moment in, like, I think it's Barry or maybe it's Cyborg Barry, I think, who's like, the ship knows he's back. And because, like, all the Superman suits or Kryptonian suits start opening up in their little chest of drawers or whatever. And I was like, that's really cool.
Do you think, is that like a Tim Gettys Hue Light thing? Like, do you think those things can be programmed to not
Voice
open up every
animated.
time you walk down the hallway?
Probably
100%.
not.
No, because
No, these ships.
They're running
later,
old tech.
later
when
They're on the
uh,
old. They're on the old firmware.
when what's his face Cyborg connects to it and like it learns Cyborg as a person, like I'm pretty sure.
Hello,
like,
Victor.
leave it closed. I don't wear these suits.
They don't like him.
We don't
They
need
told
this.
him
This
don't
guy's
do it,
dead.
and he did it. They don't trust Victor anymore.
So before that happens, though, we start the Lois Lane. Lois Lane gets interwoven here. And so we get the first one where she's in bed, still sad that Clark died, but she just woke up apparently. And, she gets out of bed and then she opens her drawer and you think she's getting a press pass. But what does she look at? Pregnancy test. Oh my God, she's knocked up with Jonathan, a Kryptonian baby. And so and I think actually they name it Bruce, actually, was how this is going to end, by the way. They go and she goes.
So she actually was pregnant during this.
Correct. Yes. She actually was pregnant.
Congrats at the end.
And Batman says congrats, but I mean, also it could be congrats on coming back from the dead. Congrats on your mom getting a house. But
I thought it was
she's pregnant.
I thought it was congrats on the wedding because remember he has that line where he's like,
"I'll take that as a yes."
I'll take that as a yes because you're wearing the ring.
Yeah.
And I thought he was like, "Hey, congratulations, you're getting married," or not, "Hey, congratulations, did you not see Superman Returns and how terrible of an idea it is to throw a kid into this too early in the series?"
Well, I mean, remember, this is going to be 5 movies and then reboot the whole universe, so we were almost done anyway. The ship was docking. But yeah, she is actually pregnant. That was that whole shirt I was talking about before that showed the baby that then came back around, and then Batman gives himself up, and they name it Bruce or whatever in memorial.
Amy Adams reports to the set again. So how do you want me to be in this scene? You're sad again. You're just sad.
I really feel like you could have filmed all this
sad.
in like 2 days. Why have I been here 3 weeks?
You're always sad.
We weren't sure if you're going to nail the Martian Manhunter Martha scene, so you're
either sad in a room, you're sad in a cornfield, or you're sad in this other room. You're just sad. Just be sad.
I've noticed I don't have many lines though. So yeah, I'm gonna put it here. She goes and gets the coffee again, and she walks over to the memorial park. She sees Jimmy Olsen, who's not Jimmy Olsen, who's named after the creators of Superman. She's like, he's like, oh, I didn't think you were coming today. She's like, last time, and she goes up there, and I think has a sweet moment of saying goodbye non-verbally to Clark and everything else, of finally, taking the words of Martha/Martian Manhunter to heart, and trying to get over this and move on with her life and actually start living again. Yeah, Kevin.
Did they rewrite the thing that was written on that statue's chest on the ground?
Was
white graffiti on the ground.
if you seek his memorial, look around you.
Oh, is that what it was? Was that what it said on the floor?
Yeah.
No. What did they write on his chest in Batman?
False God.
Superman? Oh, okay. Yeah, there was something.
The graffiti.
But I guess
I think it's just it's just if you seek his memorial, look around you.
Weird.
And then she walks away. And I know that didn't happen in order, but I think you'll all forgive me. All right, it's been a long fucking movie. Meanwhile, back at the ship, they put the body in the water. Cyborg looks at the thing and scans it and puts his Kryptonian key in, and it's Victor. And they're like, all right, cool, let's bring this fucking back. And Victor's like, yo, listen, I've been talking to this ship. She's sweet. And it turns out that Luther fucked everything up when he did his shit. She is
we got some plans to
sweet.
go to Cabo later after this whole thing is. Let's wrap.
Hey guys, real quick, and you know what? I'll stop.
Where are we going?
And he's like, hey, you know what? It's all fried and shit because the Luther shit. And he's like, I can't get enough electricity. And this is where Barry's like, well, actually, I can run really, 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 really fast. And I have a rule that I don't break, I don't run fast in the speed of light. But if I get close to it, I can get you enough electricity to jumpstart the mother box. And he's like, the one thing is, though, the more I run towards it, the crazier time gets. Yes, Tim.
You're muted.
Tim is muted.
With the whole one rule thing, Greg, is this based in Flash stuff? Like, it seems like a very specific call out for him to be saying, like, what do you, in your mind, what was the past that led him to this?
Oh, I think Flash is always tied into fucking up time. You know what I mean? And running so fast and the Speed Force and all the weird stuff that goes on inside of that and all the repercussions you've seen from that, right? Like, I think even if you looked at the CW, right, Grant Gustin's Flash, he's run back and changed time so many times and fucked it up, so much to the point that, like, Superman and Lois had a baby in the CW universe, and then when they I guess that was Crisis, actually, wasn't it, though, that rewrote that wasn't it, erased that. When Flash ran back and did other time stuff, he changed like the sex of Diggle's baby and did a whole bunch of different things like that just changed like the outcomes and some of the things that were going on. So, like, to me, I don't know. To me, and this would be maybe even a Corey Cudney question. Honestly, he's the Flash expert. That's not referencing a specific thing Barry's done before. It's just that he's run enough and done and probably crossed that, or maybe knows not to cross it, or like you said, things get weird when I get close to that. Time gets weird when I get that close to it. I think that was him, what we see here, where he realizes when he runs, he can rewind time a little bit forward and backwards. And then I would guess the payoff to that later is when he's like, I'm going to break the rule here, is like, I've gotten close enough to know that I can change it by a few different seconds. But here, I forget, I wrote it down later on, but it's this thing of like, you know, the future is what you make it, the past is what you make it kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. That he's going to go back and do. Oh, and that was fucking what, that was similar to what Arthur and Diana were talking about, right? Where it was like, if you pull one from the darkness, you lose another from the light or some shit like that. Saying that there was going to be there would be a cost to this. I think that's what it is too. Yeah, like I don't know a specific thing he's doing except for the fact that he's gotten close enough to know that if he goes beyond this, it's going to be uncharted territory.
Cool.
So anyways, he goes all the way back and he's like, I can do this and I'm at the engine, so I'll fucking do it or whatever. And they're like, all right, cool. And Aquaman's like, yo, bro, maybe we shouldn't do this. Alfred seems pretty smart and he didn't like it and I don't like what's happening. And the ship's like, yo, bros and broette, don't do this. This is bad. Like, this is not a cool thing to do. And they're like, no, we're going to do it. And Cyborg's like, ignore the fucking ship. I can launch nukes. And he's like, he's penetrating the ship and he's like, all right, 5, 4, and the ship's like, please don't do this. And Barry's like, I'm getting fast. And then Aquaman's like, don't do it. And Batman's like, yeah, I know, right? The ship gets this just fucking shit
every
on
single
left.
time.
The ship is like, don't worry about me.
Be...
I'm just trying to save you all. Don't listen to me again.
I told him not to make Doomsday too, but no, I don't know fucking shit about what I'm doing. And so
humans.
So like, right, like it's the one or whatever, right? Like the ship / mother box / whoever. I think it's probably the ship, right? Since it's been talking out of him, or maybe it's the mother box, just the mother box parts inside of him. He gets his own nightmare vision, which isn't even the nightmare. It is what we're talking about, right? They set off the unity and the synchronization, turn the planet to apocalypse. Darkseid and Granny fucking Goodness come through. Holy shit, yes. Wonder Woman dies. All the Amazons mourn her.
Wait. Darkseid and who come through?
Granny Goodness.
Fucking
traitor of the Furies, the torturer of souls on Apocalypse.
Go back and watch the old lady at the end.
Yeah, she's the old fucking lady. She's badass.
I was like, who the fuck is this? Who's this lady who taught choir to me when I was in elementary? Like,
dude, go ahead. Read Mr. Miracle. Get some Granny Goodness in there.
The Granny Goodness, the Granny Goodness from the animated show is always
totally
amazing. So off-puttingly fucking fucked up.
On the animated series show, which is all on HBO Max right now, by the way. Superman the
also
animated
her
series.
her CG looked awful.
I think first off, you're cutting corners, right? But I also think it's probably that maybe not actually. That's not true. I don't know what the deal was.
We couldn't afford an old lady. We had to
cast somebody else there eventually. But again, you want to talk about like things that I marked out on for fucking trailers or whatever. Seeing Darkseid, Desaad, and Granny Goodness. Holy fucking shit. Yeah, all right, cool. Anyways, we see them like, okay, cool, it's our time to shine. Wonder Woman's dead. We see Darkseid invade in Atlantis, is what we were talking about earlier. Omega Beam to kill one Atlantean. Then he fucking kills Arthur and the crown falls off of Aquaman's head. Then it's the Superman in the Batcave holding dead Lois, who's smoldering from the Omega Blast from Darkseid, and then Darkseid coming up, putting his hand on him. And then it's Superman under the full control of Darkseid, the crushed Hall of Justice, a dead Green Lantern, Superman there, parademons everywhere, Omega symbol in the ground. It has come to be the end of it. Victor pops back out of that and goes, no. And Barry goes, go, and fucking takes off. And so he runs.
Did you say go?
No. Yeah, exactly. The box falls. Barry runs. He actually misses it. It hits the water, and he doesn't get it at the right time. And so Barry, again, running so fast, manipulates time to move it backwards a little bit to then be able to touch it at the exact moment he needs to. Box goes off. Superman comes back. Superman shoots into the sky. Box shoots out of the thing, narrowly missing Silas and all the other Star Labs employees who are outside because of the Doomsday turret. And then Superman's fucking up. Yeah.
I really like that. That's like kind of him figuring out like, oh, I can tweak time a little bit as I'm doing this shit. And I thought that was really cool.
Wow, Greg, I'm sort of I'm rewatching that spot just as you're describing it, and you're right. That reused shot of Superman, Henry Cavill looks so much. He's a baby face there.
He's a baby, man.
He's a little baby.
Killed his first kid. Didn't he?
Did they reuse the scene from him launching later in the thing too, or no?
What did
Killed
you
his
say?
first kid.
Yeah, I mean Zod, but whatever. Let's
Go check the basement.
Killed his first person. When he does the power up move?
When he does the power move, yeah.
I don't think
do
so.
you think
I mean,
they
it might
redid
have
that
been
from-
because the whole thing obviously is a callback to Man of Steel, which I
Yeah.
fucking
Good
adore,
lord.
right?
Oh, come on,
Especially,
it's awesome.
actually, we'll get there. We'll get there.
It's so
Okay.
fucking good, dude.
We'll get there. Before we get there, Superman shoots out. Like we said, you see him, then he comes over and he goes to his what's up? He goes to the memorial, right? The box had already flown out, like I said. Justice League runs up on him, and it's pretty much frame for frame what we saw with the Whedon thing, right? I'm sure I'm missing some things, but
I watched both, and they are very, very. I watched both back to back. They're
Yeah.
very, very similar. But this one kind of like, besides the obvious changes they made, like it just lets it breathe a little bit more,
Yeah.
and it kind of lets each of the heroes have not just a moment to themselves, but also moments where they're more working together as a team against him. Which I think this is superior to the other one, with the exception of how it ends with the Lois thing.
Yeah. So this is something if I remember correctly, we all liked in the Whedon cut too. So it's I think a dope fucking fight scene here of like, how do you stop Superman? We get everybody facing off against Cyborg's arm. Superman starts scanning them. Cyborg's arm identifies him as a threat, which then sets Superman off into the fight, and they all brawl. We get the thing of Superman holding everybody back, Barry running around, knocking Barry down.
The fucking the look. I was like,
Yeah,
when
it's
he
so
started, I was
good.
like, please keep the look. Please keep the look. And when he looks over, and Barry's eyes are perfect. I laugh
There's
out loud every time I see that. Like,
There's
such a
something
good
about
moment.
Ezra Miller's acting is that when he is trying to be the lovable doof, he always looks like he is trying not to laugh. Like it looks like the outtakes where he eventually breaks into laughter in the shot. Like there's so many sequences where he's supposed to look serious and scared, but it looks like he's trying to crack a smile. But that moment, that's the best moment of the movie, I think. I love it. So
agree.
damn funny. And I love how Wonder Woman is. They see Superman and they're like, we have to restrain him. Fucking Aquaman's first thought, let me throw my trident in his chest.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
It's
not
all he knows,
restraining
guys.
him.
It's all he
He'll
knows.
pause.
Now, I do have a question though that
He's
I'm
had
a
the
little
trident for
surprised
like
that we
3 minutes. Sorry, go
blown
ahead.
past
Tim.
this. Were they born?
Oh my god!
Andy hit the song.
Were they born in labs? Now it's time to rank those abs.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to part 2 of Rank Those Abs for the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. I'm going to take this podcast in a slightly different direction.
Please do.
Because obviously, the people who got fit for this movie got very, very fit. Everyone looks great. We've talked about
Are you about to nail Ben Affleck?
No. Although there was moments at the end where with the Martian Manhunter scene where I was like, what's he doing? Keto? What the fuck's going on with that? Cavill has built amazing in this, obviously, and not the least of which is like I have a lot of respect for him because he's gone on record and saying, "Listen, I'm doing this whole thing naturally. I'm not doing any sort of supplements, like steroids or anything like that. I'm just building straight up bulk." And you see it, very defined, good muscles, but he's not overly muscular until he turns around. I don't know how a person gets a back that defined and that big. His waist is this small, and his fucking shoulders are 7 feet across.
It's an action figure.
Unbelievably cool looking. It's just is the perfect what builders call the triangle, right? That little like the waist to like shoulder ratio. Unbelievable. And I was like, dude, there's a moment where later Lois is like, here, put your dad's favorite shirt on or whatever. I was like, what are you doing? Just fucking
Lois?
work I did to get this body. Put that shirt away. We'll get that later after a couple of pizzas.
I would like to have a taste. He's got big shoulders and a tiny waist.
Thank you, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Corpses are in houses. I didn't say whose house. And also, isn't Joey lives in your place?
There's
It could be her
3 floors.
corpses.
Don't go to the
maybe
third floor.
they're Sexy Spencer's corpses. Nobody knows.
I said stop. We've talked about
Well, you
this.
said about you. You didn't say corpses about being at the same address as you. All right. So the fight continues, obviously, and they brawl through, and then eventually Batman shows up, right? And this is, I thought, a dope moment of Superman seeing him and starting to march towards him, and everybody coming and trying to stop him, right? And so, like, he throws Aquaman's coming at him, but then Flash is coming at him. He just throws Flash into Aquaman, and they smash into the stairs. Wonder Woman has that moment of "Don't make me do this," and maybe that was earlier, but I think it's here.
Yeah, it's here.
Yeah, they come up to each other to fight.
Don't make me do this. I disintegrated a man earlier.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And I love exactly. The move she saves for fucking stepping a little bit. She fucking did to bowler hat man for no reason. I told Jen about that in the car today. I'm like, she's like, how's it go? It seemed like you had a lot of fun. Like, it was some of the best content we've ever made because like we all have varying opinions on the film, and no matter how much you like or dislike it, there's nonsense in it. Like Wonder Woman just killing a guy, blowing out the wall of a building. Anyways,
turning him into powder.
this is where we get that fucking thing, the dope thing too, right? Where she headbutts him, and he's like, "Oh, fucking really?" And he flies up and then headbutts her,
Headbutts her
fucking
back in.
ground, right?
Well, before he does that, she tries to do the thing, and he catches it, right? He catches one of her arms.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he puts his hand in between the gauntlets, the bracers.
Grabs
So
it, man. I was
badass.
And so he keeps marching over to Batman, who I think I somehow in all of this, I skipped at one of the points that him and Alfred were working on gauntlets that absorbed it. That was the T scene, is that right?
That was in the
Yeah.
prior movie,
Wow.
I think.
No, that was
Alfred had a dream in Man of Steel that he could make things that would absorb heat.
It was
very much in
part
this movie.
one
part one, yeah.
of this movie because he used it in the underground sequence where he was like deflecting the bugs.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's Gal Gadot is like, "Oh, you're absorbing this and that," and he's like, and she's like, "What?"
She's like, gauntlets that absorb energy. How about a black lasso? Yeah.
Make a black lasso. Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
with
it.
Like she's like, I'm sorry, I'm working on my Gal Gadot impression. Can I try it real quick?
oh no, I don't
I'm
think
gonna
this is
try
good
it.
for
I'm gonna
anybody.
try it. Mamma mia, making the gauntlets. That's my Gal Gadot.
See, last time
I
I called him
think-
out for
honestly-
making it sound Italian, and he doubled down.
I was scared, Nick. I didn't know what you were gonna do, and I knew it was gonna be offensive, but I didn't expect it to just be that not worth doing.
Because I remember when he did that same Italian gal impression in part one, but I remember even then being like, that was a weird choice. Like,
Listen,
why?
Well, Greg, what you don't
I've
remember
come-
is Nick made the same reference in Batman v Superman in review when we did it a long time ago. But
I
you need to
don't-
remember all of this stuff
Listen,
to keep going for.
I don't know how to do impressions. I can only do. I've come to the conclusion that I can do a broke ass Christopher Walken and Mario. That's it. So if I'm impersonating anyone, it's going to be either of those two. I
Sure.
digress.
It's kind of like how, Oi Governor is, are you European, Australian, New Zealand?
I think
That's what he is. That's what Greg can give you. You know what I mean? You're majoring in Latin, a 3,000
At
year
least
old
we
dead
have
language.
Andy.
Oh, God, thank God we have
3,000-year-old
Andy.
dead language.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I got Latin. It's
Sanskrit.
the best I can do for you. PCU, when are we doing Jeremy Piven's in review, Tim? Huh?
I don't know
Stop
about
being
that.
a coward.
Damn.
Could be John Favreau. You know what I mean? We get the more. Anyways, back to it. So yeah, he starts heat vision and he's like, Clark, and he takes off his gauntlets. And then, it's like that final time he's heat visioning, Lois runs
Clark,
in.
Martha, Clark, it's Martha.
That worked for you, not for me. Lois runs in, he stops, he unheat visions, he comes down, they embrace, and she's like, let's go. And they fly up and away. Okay, yeah. I was like, is it time for part 6? It is not time for part 6. I apologize. Steppy shows up and gets the mother box. Steppy shows up to get the mother box. Silas has already run back inside with the mother box. Steppy tracks him because he can smell his mother's box and goes in there and inside. This is where they're heating it up. Okay, so he's using the electron microscope to
That
heat
looked
up
painful
the
as
mother
shit.
box. And then Cyborg runs in and he sees the box heat up, and then he sees his dad get just fucking cut all up like in Resident Evil with those cool lasers that spun around in that hallway. Andy, you remember?
Love
I think he
yeah,
just got
which turns
super
into
hot,
cubes.
Greg. I think he
I'm just
burns
saying
to
a lot of shit happens and it's cool. And
His dad
dies.
was like, "Oh fuck! I thought I was on the outside of the booth. I didn't realize I was on the inside of the booth."
Oh fuck! I fucked this up. He didn't try to get out. Anyways, though, he does that. He dies. Oh no, Daddy! And Cyborg's knocked down. Steppy
Suddenly
runs
he
in.
cares,
He
you
gets
know
the
what I
box.
mean?
He
I thought you were
booms
tries
his
to
out of
run.
there. You know what I
thought you
mean?
didn't like your dad.
He-
Guess not, you liar.
Well, it turns
No,
out
you
Greg's a
know what I
liar too. He's a great cyborg impersonator. Oh no,
Oh, my daddy! Oh no!
Nailed it.
Mom was very much looking and being a responsible driver. Oh no!
She wasn't
the whole time. You
She's
can look at
looking
me.
over at him. I've looked at it. The chat agreed with me. It's ridiculous.
Some of the chat agreed with you, and it's because they are Kevin stans, and I
Chad,
can't
you
help
don't want
that.
Kevin
right?
on your side. when it
First of
comes to
all,
driving safety, all right?
I don't know what that means for anyone. So stop it, Andy. You're hurting my feelings.
Man, I'm watching this. See, we
And
just
then we
get
go to
burned
dark.
Up. It's
Then we go to
wild,
dark.
man.
Part 6.
Andy,
Something
can you go
darker.
to 130
Part
and
6,
see where the
something
car
darker.
comes in?
No, I won't.
It's not even the right time code. We start in Smallville where Lois and Clark land, and she's like, "Oh, you brought me here," and he goes, "Yeah, it's home." And she goes, "Oh, you spoke," and he goes, "Did I not before?" Because he's still piecing it all together. He just came out of a
His
a
brain's
long
still
winter's
all
nap.
mushy. We've been there.
Yeah, totally. You know what I mean? It's all slowly coming to him, but he starts.
Kevin was there at the
remembering,
start of the episode today.
Still there, Abby. Give me a chance. Don't let me
That's
talk
Kevin's
too much.
secret.
I was talking to my friend Josh Whedon. What, Kevin? What are you
Whedon.
talking about?
What's this prick's name? Come on, what's his name?
My friend
Josh
Wheaton.
Whedon.
Hold on,
What did I
see
say?
I want to see what Cecil does.
You said Joshua
Joshua Wheaton.
Okay, so a T to a D. Is that what I did? A T to a D? Yeah, I'm a
But yeah, but
idiots.
also Josh.
Add a S to an
instead of
H.
Joss.
It's weird. It's a very weird name.
Joss.
It's Joss.
It's
Joss.
Joss.
Like
Joss.
Kevin just melted. That's great.
Oh, it's been a long week, and we just destroyed Kevin's brain. He was not.
It's Joss.
He was so hung up on Wheaton, he had no idea what was going on in the front. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Anyway, yeah, he puts on the shirt here, Greg.
No, we go back to the cave real quick, and I think, yeah, this is when they all show up at the cave. This is what we were talking about earlier, where like Alfred's like, or I'm sorry, Flash's like, and Alfred, and like, badass Alfred. And I do like the line of when they get there, and Bruce Wayne's like, "This is Alfred, I work for him." I was like, oh, that's cute. That's a cute little line.
Yeah. cute.
But they go there and they figure out the thing of like, oh man, they already knew this actually.
He only has one cup.
Yeah, that was funny too. I will not have enough cups. I'll put on some tea. I got to look around. Or no. Yeah, we got to look around the world. They figured. Well, I don't know. We look around the world. And before they figured out he had heated it up and what his plan was or whatever, so they can track it. They can track this stupid thing to wherever they aren't now. And yeah, they track it down and that it's in the Chernobyl. And bye, Nick. It's in Chernobyl, and they're like, cool, there. It's like, oh, the place is toxic. And they're like, no, it's not toxic anymore. He used the toxicity to build out Apocalypse or put the power into the fucking thing or whatever. So Batman can go there and not get cancer is what that's all for. That's all just to tell us that.
Could I, shout outs to getting rid of the Russian.
Right?
No, let's come on. Let's
Out
move
of the
past
fucking
it.
blue. Out of the fucking blue. He's like, wait, let me make a point while holding a cookie I didn't have 2 seconds before.
Shout
That's
outs.
a desk cookie right there.
Shout outs to them getting rid of the Russian people. You know what I mean? Like in the first movie.
Yeah, big time,
Oh
big
my
time.
god.
Oh, the Russian people were that's just such a terrible decision. To put
Terrible
in
decision.
the movie.
And I'm glad they're gone. Good riddance.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because they were like, when you start thinking about a nuclear like plant that's irradiated,
Sure.
you're like, why would there be a village anywhere close to that thing? Why would there be any living inhabitants? To
That's a
that?
real thing though. There's like for Chernobyl, there's like areas
Yeah.
around that are irradiated that like
That people
the
still
Russian
live in?
government paid people to live in to see if everything's gonna be okay.
That's just.
I'm not joking.
hilarious.
I'm not
It's
joking.
funny
A
'cause
lot
you
of them,
have
a lot of them are
chocolate
fun.
chocolate
A lot
chip
of them are
cookie.
fun.
I'm so sorry. I have to fucking say this, Kevin. There was a YouTube comment yesterday that was, how is Kevin so confused with following timestamps on an email? Why is he always confused? Why is he always eating?
I'm hungry, man. Like,
But you just pop it back with that fucking cookie.
It was just like he was like the way you'd be on fucking Capitol Hill and you look over and AOC would be like, and hold on a second now, owner of BP, I have things to see. Like, you know what I mean? Kevin's like, wait, I got a cookie and I gotta make a point right now.
here's
Oh
the
my
thing:
God.
the good people that watch our content, they have to like put up with Nick's horrible jokes, Greg's terrible
true.
accents, Tim,
My-
just in general.
my great-
Andy, you're
my
perfect.
great Alan
Andy, you're
Rickman.
perfect.
My
Your
Alan
music is
Rickman.
beautiful and it makes everyone's life better. So they have to put up with my cookie eating. All right, tough.
I'll fucking deal with it. I'll deal with it, Kev.
Oh my god, I almost vomited from laughing so much, dude.
Hold on one second.
Damn. What's going on,
Oh,
Greg?
man.
You doing some
Also,
research?
FYI, this is a great goddamn cookie. Look at this.
What
fucker.
is it? It looks
Isn't that
very
beautiful?
good. It's
Paula
thick.
made this. Paula made this. I know.
Shit.
We've been working on our cookie recipe. Look at that guy.
She made that. That looks delicious.
Yeah.
What's the crisp to chew ratio?
Well, these I was watching some stuff that I can't talk about with Spencer, and
Oh, okay.
Not porn, embargo things. Just to
Yeah. I was
No,
like,
we
what do
know
you
it's
want?
embargoed things.
Embargo things. Embargo things. Nothing weird. And I forgot the cookies, and they burned a little bit, but they burned like the perfect amount. But it is a little bit. It's not a biscotti level, but it's 2 steps below that. On like
Yeah, I
crunch.
like that,
stretch.
though.
On
This
crunch.
stretch of 10 minutes is the best thing that's ever happened in the company, man.
The fucking cookie. The cookie episode. God.
Okay, Craig Miller, where
Yeah,
were
buddy.
we in the plot?
Everybody's there. They figured out to try to track the thing. It's in Chernobyl. Took away the toxicity. Back in Smallville, he's in the cornfield, and this is where Lois comes out. And he's like, I assume that means yes. And she's wearing the ring. And she's like, oh, you remember? And it's like, yeah, I'm back. And this is cool. And I'm live again. Neato. And then Mom shows up, and he's like, wow, Mom's here. Neato. And he's like, yes, they woke me up. I'm kind of combining a bunch of stuff. They woke me up for a reason. I got to go check that out, guys. Okay, cool. Back in the cave, though. We had a nice conversation here where Flash and Aquaman are talking, and Aquaman's very much like, this fucking sucks. Because the plan, of course, is that Victor's going to dial into the mother boxes, and he'll separate them, and they need Flash will give him a charge or whatever, yada, yada, yada. But maybe not even that. It doesn't matter. They know that Victor is like, has to do all this. Like, Cyborg has to go be the man here, and that sucks to put onto this guy. And Aquaman says as much, and Flash is like, I thought you didn't care. And he's like, I never said that. And again, don't get me wrong. I'm not making excuses for the film at all, but I do see what they're trying to do here with the conversations that we're starting to like more, or at least I'm starting to like more between the team members of they're together now and they're getting a camaraderie and they're finding common ground, which then I guess pays dividends in 2 more movies. But you understand what I'm saying here. I like what's happening. I think it's one of the reasons we like the second half of the movie more than the first. Sorry. So, and then this is the conversation between Batman and Wonder Woman, where Bruce is like, I had a fucking vision 2 movies ago, or a movie, a movie and a half ago, about like, all right, over here, and fucking Barry came to me clear as day, said Lois Lane's the key. She's like, yeah, and he was just Superman, and he's like, no, I don't think like that. I think it meant something more, something darker. Again, just that feeling of like, it's kind of like in a video game when you beat the boss and you're like, this doesn't feel like, oh no, there's another boss, and that thing comes up and it's huge and epic, and you're like, fuck, now it's really gonna be hard. I'm glad I saved all my potions. Yeah. Then they go out and they call in the ship that Cyborg finally got working. He's like, she wanted to fly. She wants to fly. I'm like, whatever. Why are you talking to this fucking ship? They all climb on that, but right before they climb on it, Bruce is like, you stay here, Alfred. He'll come. I know he will. And he's like, how do you know? And he's like, faith. And he's got faith in Superman or whatever. Faith. Kind of like how Missouri fans had faith in Haith a long time ago, but that didn't work out.
So does the ship just fly itself? Not that that's that crazy in this world, but the fact that Alfred and Batman made it seems weird that it does.
I don't think so. I don't
How
get.
does it come back to them at the end? Is that Alfred picking them up?
It's probably
Sure.
That seems like an autopilot
No,
thing.
but
Yeah.
you gotta think like Bruce is stealing a lot of like information from the companies that he owns, right? Like they're manufacturing weapons and stuff, and he's just they're making plans, and he's just like, I'm gonna take the autopilot from this one. The whatever.
Cyborg can also just tap into anything,
Yeah.
Like
He can just go do. I mean, like, I'm not even making a joke here.
Mr. Robot.
He's Mr. Robot. And like whatever he does, the robots are like, oh, fucking cool. We got to go do this.
Because Nick, if you didn't know, in Mr. Robot, Rami Malek plays a flute into computers.
Yeah,
and then controls them.
That's why they call his company Pied Piper, which is weird that they decided to remake that into Silicon Valley.
That's the one.
Yep.
So, but we go to Chernobyl where Steppy has all 3 boxes. He puts them together. He's like, it's time for synchronicity. And then they start like vibrating together. He's like, it's going to take a second, everybody. Just chill. It's going to happen. Don't worry. Parademons, sit down. It's going to happen. Make yourself some lunch.
He's like steady. It's okay.
He's looking at them and he's like, all right, it looks like the download finished. Oh, it's got to finalize the files. What does that mean?
What does copying over mean?
I gotta search for the driver. I gotta search for the driver.
It's got to copy it.
It's copying over to the PS5. I thought it was installed already. What the fuck? God
damn it! Anybody got a WinRAR file here? That's what I really do. The Justice League shows up and they're like, all right, time to enact the plan or whatever. And so Batman's like, I'll fly up and they have this protective dome and I'll shoot the dome and I'll fly inside the dome from the little hole I shot inside the dome. And then when I'm in there, I'll shoot the tower and the tower will come down and the dome will come down. And everybody's like, all right, cool.
It's disgusting because the dome looks like a testicle with a flashlight being shown.
It does. weirdly that you know that.
It does. It does. We've all done it.
It's,
But
it's
Don't
red.
act like you
It's
don't
got
know.
it's got the little veins all over the place.
My
Couple
question.
hairs.
My question for everyone, Greg, are you going?
Oh,
Okay, Greg's
good.
getting light out. He's going to take a look. This is going to get us
Greg,
banned
you
from
don't
Twitch
have
for
to do it.
sure.
Oh
don't have to
man,
do
I
it.
really hope. No, Lord.
I'll be
I
damned.
know.
Yeah.
I'll be damned. Oh no!
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this though,
I'm
as
so
one
uncomfortable. Just
as one critique for this particular scene. What is the point of putting up a protective barrier? If
Yes,
missiles,
100%.
if missiles can shoot through it very
well,
easily.
lots of missiles, Nick. No one thought
Independence Day,
shoot
you know,
that many
aliens, they
missiles.
didn't have this problem. They put up their thing and it was done. They were fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it
know, we had to
worked.
hack them
It just
with the
worked.
virus.
He was like, "Don't worry, I'm going to take the shield out." And they're like, "How?" He's like, "Pretty easily with a couple missiles."
Then what are you
Okay.
gonna do? I'll find a gun.
I'm going to sacrifice myself. You don't have to. There's a lot of us. We can
You
go in as
really
a
don't
team.
need to do
It's
that.
really
Yeah,
actually
they
better if
could
we all
have
stick
all
together.
gone
on
in
this.
together.
Together.
Found a
Yeah.
building, opened, they
Landed
hop
on it.
out. He hops out. The ship
Yeah.
crashes into the pillar. You know?
Yeah.
I really
Superman
just
carries
want to
everyone.
A
rewind.
good
to the
death
part.
is its own reward.
Exactly.
Christopher Maloney, never forget.
Benson and Stabler coming
What's the
back.
deal? Yeah, I asked you that in Assets. Did you respond?
No, I didn't know the
He
answer
just
to it,
retired.
actually.
He just
Uh,
retired from the force?
yeah.
Okay. And now he's
Yeah,
back.
he's coming back, man. April 1st.
In the live chat, Donnie C just says, hanging brain. So while this is starting or happening, we skipped. We not skipped. I guess it's happening at the same time. I might have missed it. Superman flies to the ship.
I do just really want to point out really quickly point out a timestamp for everybody. At 3 hours, 9 minutes, and 42 seconds, this is where Ben Affleck kind of just walks around. Like he just looks like a short dude who's real built in the gym. Like he just
somebody give me
looks
my
weird
water
as
bottle
hell.
with a sipper?
3 hours, 9 minutes, 42 seconds.
So Superman, after he left, he went to the ship, right? And we have him walking through the ship, looking at the different suits while it goes back and forth between Jonathan Kent and Jor-El, giving him lines of dialogue previously in Man of Steel, hyping him up, building him up, and then new dialogue, right? Where, as we've joked around many a time in the show, Jonathan Kent actually not that supportive of him actually being a superhero or doing anything, but this time there is that of "I'm proud of you," and Jor-El's like, "The world is ready," and they had to see your sacrifice, whatever. And then the new dialogue that I like a lot from Jonathan is, "Fly, son, it's time." And that he walks outside and things open just like Man of Steel, but he's in the black suit now with the silver S, and then he goes to the ground and does the vibration flying, and it all kicks
fucking
up, and then he
dope.
fucking shoots off. Yeah.
And it's the music and everything's swelling. But what I really wanted was Jor-El to be the motivational one, and then cut to Jonathan and be like, "What are you doing, son? Don't do this, man." Like, what are you
Back
doing?
to Martha, and
Come
she's
on.
like, "Be there, Simbler. Don't. What do I care? Fuck
there,
it. Fuck
Simbler.
everybody.
Just
Fuck us."
no.
Jonathan,
Wait.
you got to encourage him, okay? No, the kid doesn't know what he's doing. Like, you just hear him talking in the background.
That was really good dialogue. It's fun.
So Batman, he goes in there and he shoots the hole and he gets in the thing, and then he crashes the ship, and the ship goes down. He's like, "It's over. Everything's down. Come on in." And he's like, "What does that mean, Bruce? Bruce. This is Flash. What does it mean, Bruce? Bruce." And he's like, "Just come in or whatever." And then they're here, and he hits the thing, and then he climbs in the Batmobile. And he starts fucking shooting everybody with the Batmobile. And then you go out there, and they're like, "All right, we got to go in there and fucking fuck shit up." So they fly in, they start fucking shit up, and Flash is running in, and Aquaman's getting kind of dragged in. And they're all fucking shit up or whatever. And then Batman comes roaring out in the Batmobile, and they go, and then we get the hero shot, like very fucking Age of Ultron's hero shot of like a little bit of a spin. And this is the part where I was like, oof. Like I've let a lot of the graphics go in this game, but this is the part where I'm like, this is the one that does not look great. This is the one that stands sore thumb of like, this did not get the budget or time needed to make these guys look great. Bye, Nick. Why do you keep hanging up on him, Kev?
Sorry.
No, he's pressing the wrong buttons. He gets all.
Were you hanging
No.
some brain too?
No, my
No.
So can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear
Yeah.
you. We hear you.
Sorry, my mic keeps disconnecting because I gotta swap out these USB cables.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Sorry.
interesting.
You're fine.
I did want to add that when who was it? Bruce stops responding on the radio call. Like, there's no reason to. Like, it didn't
He's
disconnect.
got to do this.
Does he?
It's really, I mean, look at his suit. Look at how he's doing this thing. It's hard to get your hand up there. Like, give the poor guy a second. You know?
I just
He's
feel
a
like he
human
could have
being.
just been like, "Oh, okay, no, they're in here, but I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's like, it seems
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
gun's working."
Well, it,
Just
fe- it
picture
feels
Bru- I
like
just
he's
picture
definitely
Bruce
doing
Wayne
the thing of like
oh, my upper lip itches, my upper lip itches. Like I can't
he's
get
definitely
up there.
setting himself up right to that sacrifice his life, like leave me, but he doesn't need to because he's Batman and he breaks out and we get the moment of them doing it. And they barrel through a building and Aquaman gets on the thing and he's like, "You really are out of your mind." And like, "Yeah, Aquaman,
It's
yeah, you
cool,
are,
man.
right?"
I
Yeah,
like
no,
it.
this is
It's
Yeah.
cool shit.
This is super cool, and this is the part where, Parademon grabs Aquaman and flies him up in the air, and Aquaman's like, "Fuck you," and pokes him, and then he starts falling, and Cyborg grabs him, and this is the my man thing, and then Cyborg throws him, and he grabs the Parademon and fucking stabs the Parademon, and then rides him
Through
down
a
like a
goddamn
surfboard,
building.
and it's like
Fucking Legolas
that's
on the
fucking
shield.
dope.
That's
That is
awesome,
fucking
dude.
amazing. I love
And-
all that.
And it's a night shot. It looks better aesthetically. It isn't this weird orange tinty kind of whatever the fuck Whedon was doing. I all of the sequence just fucking rocks, dude. This kicks
Such-
dick every
It's an
part of it.
interesting choice when you see the coloring in this, and like I know Andy, I think you said you liked the saturation from the movie prior, and Tim, you liked this one, but I think that like, why would you not keep this a night shoot? First off, everything's vastly more dramatic at night. It just adds to the drama of what's going on here. I'm like, why would you not just keep this the way it is and maybe saturate it a little bit? I don't know. It's fucking weird.
The Russian people would be sleeping, and it's hard to move a house, a building.
I'm
when
so
people are
glad the
sleeping.
Russian family's gone. Holy shit.
Right?
Can we just talk about
A kid with
like
the bug spray.
the best
We
omission?
already did.
Oh, okay. I'll talk
Yeah,
about
remember I
it.
made
It
a
happened
big
in the
deal
show.
about it.
You were here.
Because I just remember
But when
in
they
the
have the
first
dream,
time when like I left to the restroom while they were on camera and I came back and they were on camera again. And I was like, Jesus, it's enough with his fucking family.
Around, well, they get in, and then they get into. No, I guess not. This is right around here is the Superman meets Alfred scene where he flies to Gotham. He's like, "What's up?" And it's again like, it's more the thing you're hung up on that Superman had to go to Alfred to find out. It's more to me the thing that Alfred's like, "Well, the world might end right now, so I'm gonna go work on this car." Like,
Yeah.
I understand, like, I also kind of get, like, hey, it's out of my hands and I got to do something.
Yeah,
but
you
how
gotta
many
do
times
something.
have we seen Alfred sitting there at mission control being like,
Yeah.
what do you need, Master Bruce? What do you need? If I was going into Chernobyl to fight the alien that might unify the thing and burn the
You bring
entire
the
world,
spider.
I'd
Bring
be
the
on
spider. It's a good
standby
call.
to take over the spider, to take over the jet, to take over the Batmobile.
well, not only that, but there's just a general lack of urgency throughout all of the Superman stuff that's not mirrored in obviously the action sequence that we're cutting back and forth with. Like, so to me, it's just that's difficult to craft. And when he lands, it just seems like Jeremy Irons should have been like, "Holy shit, stop, get to wherever this thing is. Like, they need you right now." Instead, he's like, "Put
Master
on the
Kent.
tea.
Master
Why don't
Kent.
you have a seat? You need a blanket? I'll light the fire for you. I got a yarn to spin for
Take your
you,
shirt
my
off.
friend."
Show me that back. How'd you do that? How'd you get that back?
Pull-ups, all pull-ups, probably.
In Chernobyl, then we're into Endgame here. They all come in, and Aquaman and Wonder Woman start fighting Steppy, and then Cyborg runs to the thing, grabs him. He's like, "Barry, I'm in place," and Barry's like, "Cool, I'll run around for a long time." And so Barry goes and he's running around, just blue light, just running, and he's just running, and he's and everybody's like, "Man, this guy's
running. Greg, I thought you were gonna try to
He's
harmonize.
running to get a cookie. He's gonna run it.
And so Steppenwolf faces off against them and starts fighting them. And I love it where he's like to Wonder Woman, like, "I fucking killed your family, by the way, and your mom, cried for mercy or whatever." And then Wonder Woman's like, "Liar." And then they fucking go for a second. She gets knocked back, and Aquaman's like, "Hell yeah!" And he gets knocked down. And he's like, "Oh no!" And then some stuff starts falling on him. And he's like, "Oh shit!" And the Wonder Woman runs over there, and she protects him, leaving Cyborg completely vulnerable. And so Cyborg's about to get in there or whatever, and Steppenwolf comes up there, and he yanks him away. And I guess actually I put it this way: he yanks him away, and then Wonder Woman pulls him down. Or yeah, Wonder Woman does this thing and doesn't kill a normal human being, instead evaporates a bridge. Then he falls and then they fall, and then
The amount
Steppy
of
goes back up
excess
there.
she
Yeah,
is- when she killed that
Yeah,
guy.
exactly right.
You know what I mean?
And so-
she just blew up a fucking like rock bridge.
yeah. So yeah, Steppenwolf has an unfettered access now to Cyborg. Gets his axe, hauls off to hit it, comes down, and boom, Superman flies in, takes it like a champ on the collarbone, and just goes, "Not impressed." And I was there with Nick, where I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
all right." It's not a
Like
great
this-
one-liner.
this
But then he
should
does
have
the
been-
cool, like, blows the ice on the axe and just knocks it away.
Dude, this is supposed to be this should be the most hype moment in your film. Superman has come back from the dead. He's finally Superman. He's going to do the first cool thing he's done since being Superman. And that's the line that they wrote for him to say.
What they needed to do is recreate the Fast and Furious moment in the jail breakout scene of Hobbs and Shaw, where he goes, the guy comes up to Superman, what's his face? Steppenwolf walks up to Superman. I've been waiting for this, and Superman goes, "Keep waiting, bitch," and just fucking punches it. Like we needed something way cooler than not.
Superman said, "Keep waiting,
Keep
bitch."
waiting, bitch.
Fuck yeah!
Honestly, in a Snyder movie, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that would be
would've been
akin to
amazing.
when he told Jimmy to turn it up. You know what I mean? In the comic books after he came
Keep
back from the
waiting.
dead. Instead, he comes out, and you want to talk about just again, like, let's, for the mainstream audience, just set up that Superman's way too fucking powerful. He just clowns Steppenwolf out. You know what I mean? This guy that has been fucking up hundreds of Amazons and all this shit, every Atlantean. Superman sidestepping and dodging and heat vision. Aquaman and Wonder Woman are like, oh, this is cool. We don't have to worry about this thing. They're fucking punching and kicking. Superman just gets him on the ground at one point and just fucking heat visions his horn off. You're like, oh my God. And like,
So
keep in
brutal.
mind,
so
again,
good.
like, Superman knows that Steppenwolf's a threat because, like, they must have brought me back for a reason. Shows up. Alfred's like, Master Kent, they're in Chernobyl. They're fighting this bad guy who wants to ruin the whole world. Superman's like, got it. Superman shows up, and then it's just like, guess what? I pulled my punches with Doomsday, apparently. You are fucked. Like, I am.
Yeah.
I heard my friend Diana is just icing purse snatchers in Paris now. So if the rules are cool and everybody's chill, I'm not even fucking trying anymore.
Yeah,
And he's like,
I'm
They
killing
weren't
you.
purse snatchers. Come on,
I
I
thought
thought
it
a
was-
little bit more than that.
Greg, I thought the same thing. I thought the idea of this, giant monster Steppenwolf with a magical fire axe not doing anything. Like, I would have rather it just been like a deflection or something. But this just shows that he's untouchable. And maybe it's just because Abomination has some of that Kryptonian inside of him, Greg. What, like?
Abomination's a Hulk villain. You're talking about
Doomsday.
Doomsday, but yeah.
Oh, Doomsday. Sorry.
Yeah, Doomsday
Like,
was Kryptonian. Like, I mean, there's a bunch of. I understand why that Doomsday would give Superman more a run for his money, but I just, as somebody who, my interpretation of Superman isn't that he literally nothing can hurt him at all points. Like, you're like, all right, like, okay, cool, whatever. Doesn't matter.
it's
I
just,
also-
it's just
That's
not
been-
even a competition.
But that's
I
been
appreciate
Zack
that
Snyder.
he uses his heat vision on Batman earlier. And like he had the
Oh,
gauntlet
yeah.
thing that they did
Yeah.
set up, but it's like, Jesus Christ, he is a human being. And like if that thing cut off Steppenwolf's fucking horn, how did it
Yeah.
not just destroy?
Dude, I
Bruce
don't even
Wayne?
started on that, right? Where it's like Batman is like throws it up and then is that pinpoint of accuracy. Because remember too, at one point Batman falls down
blast.
while he's getting blasted. So Batman's falling and like doing complex geometry in his head about where Superman's eye line is gonna
Yeah.
go, so he
Listen.
doesn't catch one errant blast to the fucking chest.
You
and he's
guys
dead.
you guys don't understand what it's like to lift that many weights and have forearms that are that big. Okay, only
wow.
me,
Good
Ben
point, good
Affleck,
point.
and a handful of other human beings, The Rock probably on there, can really understand that.
So
I
while
think
all this
that-
is happening, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think for as a response for that, I think it was more Superman's accuracy of just going after his face, right? Like you shooting lasers at his face, and that's why it's block your.
I don't know. I
face.
mean, a second ago, he just like kind of just went crazy and blew up a bunch of fucking trucks.
Yeah.
He was going crazy.
Man, I'm just scrolling through this whole fight.
You having a
and
good
it's just
time?
So good.
Yeah, it's fun,
just-
right? It's a good fight.
It's so fucking good when like I had rewound a little bit when Cyborg and Steppenwolf both fall down, and then Cyborg goes back up, and then Steppenwolf's like,
Wonder
"I'm
Woman,
coming for you,
Lasso.
motherfucker!" Lasso brought down, like, so cool. All of this is just miles better than anything in the earlier version of it.
Yeah, Kevin.
Quick question for you: why does Wonder Woman keep calling him Kal-El?
Because that's his name.
Yeah, there's
Well, no,
I
but,
mean,
like,
like
Did he introduce? He
Take-
was like, "Hey, I'm Kal-El."
no, and it's not I don't think it's something that's well established in
Can I-
the DCEU. In the comic books, as
don't-
you know, Diana often calls him Kal-El because of
But
I
I
don't
mean,
know
like,
the way she
in-
identifies more with him as an alien / Kryptonian than Clark. I think
In
she thinks
movie
Clark's
canon.
more of a disguise. I know, and I'm telling you, it's not set up well in the DCEU for why she would do
Is
that.
it
now.
set up at all?
That she knows his name's Kal-El?
Yeah. Because
I mean-
I'm wondering if I'm missing a scene where someone was like, "His name's Kal-El, not Clark."
Oh, but you have to imagine they talked a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
And he was like, "Hey,
We
I guess
really
they only
didn't.
met that one time, right?
Remember Superman
She's with
meets
you?
Lois. Yeah, exactly. And then they
Good
immediately,
point.
or I'm sorry,
Good point.
Diana. Then they immediately go and fight.
I
But
like
mean,
to think of it as far as like maybe she's just the only person in all of the DCEU that actually gives a shit about your secret identity. Because everyone else on the fucking planet's like, Clark,
in front of the
over
cops
here.
and everybody else. Yeah,
Over
yeah.
here,
Jesus,
Clark.
for reals.
Clark Kent, over here. And then I was like, oh, okay, he's just gonna be Superman from now on. And then the fucking movie is like, put the glasses back on. Nobody
Clark Kent, he's back
knows.
from the dead. Remember Clark Kent?
Yeah.
Like, check the obituary.
They came
He
back from the
died.
dead at the same time. They both came back at the same
Oh
time
my
from the
God.
dead.
I do want to
Like,
point
it
out
makes
One of the
sense.
biggest missed opportunities of the DCEU, if you're really shaking it up and doing different stuff, is I'll never forget
Too right
watching
with
Man
it.
of Steel, and it was that Lois figures out he's Clark Kent, and Superman flies back to Martha, and Lois gets dropped off by a police officer in the Kent driveway, and I was like, and Pete knows, like Smallville knows, I was like, this will be so dope if they just don't do a secret identity, because of course, how does that actually make sense in the real world, right? And then the fact that at the end he's a stringer reporter riding a bike, I was like, oh god.
It's okay. Apparently,
I do-
everyone knows who Batman is too. So it's okay.
I do want to point out throughout this whole sequence that I like how everybody's being utilized a lot more. Like, I feel like everybody gets
Yeah.
a bit more of a piece of the pie in this whole fight sequence.
except for
And
Batman, right?
Well,
Well, he's taking
yes
out the
and
gun
no,
turrets
Kevin.
outside.
yes and no, but
stretching.
No, that's true.
I'm mostly talking about Aquaman, because like the fact that Aquaman is the one that gets the final like stabbing blow and lifts him up. I think that giving Aquaman that is such a cool little like, hey, you could take this, dude. And we're all the Justice League. We're all doing good stuff over here.
Oh, that's when they fucking all go ham and fucking destroy him in a second. That's
That's
great.
badass.
But before then, oh my god.
No, I was just gonna say, what a show of strength at the end when he gets his head chopped off.
I mean, we're gonna
Thrown
get
through
there.
a portal.
So again, Flash is running around. He gets shot by one of the turrets before Batman can get there, and he gets hurt. And so then Cyborg's finally in position, finally dialed into the unit, and he's like, "No, Barry, now." And Barry's like, "Heal, heal, heal," and he can't heal in time. He can't force it, obviously. So then the boom tube opens, and Steppy's down, and Steppy's like, "He's arrived." And this is where we see Darkseid, and we see Granny, and we see Desaad on the other side of it, staring through, and everybody looks at him, and then Superman looks back, and Cyborg's like, it synchronizes, and he's like, we're too late. And he goes boom, and starts turning the whole world into apocalypse and flame and all that stuff. Everybody gets blown away, and Flash sees it coming, of course, because of being able to go slow, and he starts vibrating to stay in and out of phase or whatever. He's in the space between spaces, and this is where he's like, all right, cool, time to break the rule, Barry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to just run faster than the speed of light, and this is I wrote it down, make your own future, make your own past. And this is where he's talking to his dad. Just no, Dad, your son made it. And like, your dad's Ash right now. Don't worry about it. Just run real fast. All right, just do your thing. And so he does. He runs really, 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 really fast, and really, really fast. And we see the whole world start coming back together, and people getting back assembled, and we're time traveling backwards. And he runs all the way to when Cyborg's got it, and he's synchronized, and he's part of it. And he taps Cyborg to give him the power to then throw him into it, to then pull apart the mother boxes to break the unity. He then yells for Superman. Superman comes over, helps him split them apart. They do it. The boxes drop down there, and that's when everyone's like, oh, and like they're all watching through the boom tube. Oh. And then Steppenwolf's like, oh, and then Aquaman's like, yeah, and just stabs him in the back, and he's like, oh no, and he lifts him up, and then Superman's like, fuck you, and punches him, and then Wonder Woman's like, here we fucking go, and chops this motherfucker's head off as his body tumbles into the tube, goes into the tube, lands in the Apocalypse throne room, slides up, Darkseid stomps on his head to stop his head, and then
breaks the other horn off.
Yeah, exactly. They all fucking look at Darkseid. Darkseid looks at all of them, and then boom, they close the fucking tube. And when it's done, Desaad, of course, being the little bitch he is, he's like, I fucking told you, Master, he'd fucking fail. And he's like, now that the mother boxes are destroyed, he says, how will you retrieve the anti-life equation? And Darkseid is like, yes, you did fucking tell me that. Thank you very much. This is a dangerous fucking thing to tell me. I don't know why you'd say this right now in this moment. And he's like, ready the Armada. We'll use the old ways. Of course, meaning that now the mother boxes are not there. He has no tether to boom tube there. So instead, they will climb in their giant spaceships and crawl the galaxy until they get to where they're going, which is exciting.
I want to say Barry Allen's or Ezra Bridger, rather. Bridger, did I say no? That's the Star Wars character.
Yes.
Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller's, despite his line delivery and despite the writing in a lot of that moment, in a lot of that sequence, I thought it was still really awesome, and I thought the music was fantastic and built up great, and it reminded me of that sort of emotional Guardians of the Galaxy type thing where there's just a flood of emotions I'm feeling, and the music is kind of amplifying all of that. And then Ezra Miller's kind of saying some silly shit that I'm just like, I don't love this. I kind of wish it was a little bit better. Like, I don't love the acting here, and the writing's not super great. But I'm immediately brought back in because all the moment is super emotional and awesome. And also, I don't need to see fucking Superman and Cyborg's flesh being put back together. Nah, man, that's gross, dude. Like, this
It's gross, dude.
This moment is magical. This moment's magical and heroic, and I don't need to see bone turn to tendon, turn to muscle, turn to skin. Like, it kind of.
It's rewinding in time. It's cool. You're crazy.
It's gross. Nah, I don't need to see that. It's gross.
Then we get, of course, our hero shot. The Justice League finally united, standing there in Chernobyl, looking down on a world they've saved. Everybody smiling, everybody happy. Word at the Justice League. Huzzah. Black. Epilogue.
And they have a fist bump with that. Coincides with a music beat of like. Poof.
Did you like that?
That's really cool. That's cool.
Black screen epilogue. A father twice over. This is Victor back in the apartment, back in his sweatsuit because he's embarrassed. I'm cyborg, but I don't like being a cyborg. And so he sees the smashed up tape recorder. He uses his cyborg powers of telekinesis to reassemble it, and then hits play, right? And we pick up with Silas talking to him and picking up again as a father. Your father twice over, of course. I brought you into the world once, and I brought you back to the world. Just giving him a pep talk or whatever, and telling him how great he is and how proud of him he is. And he smiles, and he's like, you got to go be one of the heroes now. You got to go. You have a bigger place in this world, kind of thing. You got to step up to the plate. While this is happening, we get to bop around to see what's happening with the rest of the Justice League and the people we were introduced to in the film. We go to Star Labs where Ryan Cho is, this is his real, or Choi is his real introduction, where they're like, you're the boss, you're the boss now, boss, and you're in charge of the ship. Nanotechnology. He's like, yeah, that's my thing. And they're like, oh man, I'm gonna be the Atom Nito. For Aquaman is on the shore talking to the Green Goblin and Mara, and he's like, yeah, we did it. And they like do that like bro Atlantean Green Goblin handshake thing, and he's like, all right, cool.
Hair, man, it is insane.
Defoe?
Volko, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And he's like,
Lord.
I gotta go see my dad, and winks at the camera because that's gonna be Aquaman. It's gonna be a much brighter, happier movie. Then Bruce is at the his manor, and this is the whole thing. Like, we'll have a giant fucking table, Alfred, 7 chairs, and Diana's there. She's like, but room for more? I'm like, yeah, we're gonna fucking make it. This it's gonna be a hall of justice. All these fucking heroes are gonna be chilling at my place now. This is cool. Get some pizza rolls, Alfred. Alfred's like, exactly. Barry goes back to the crime lab. He's like, I got a shitty job he goes back to the penitentiary. You know what I mean? I got a shitty job. And he's like, this is a real job. Yo, my boy got a job. And everyone's like, what's your fucking problem? You know what I mean? You told him to leave you alone and give up his dream.
We're all still in prison.
Yeah.
For a while. Chill, man.
Didn't know your fucking son's a narc. You know what I mean?
For a while, I thought his dad was like sarcastically cheering.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's got a fucking oh, good for you, Barry. Like, I thought it was
I'm in jail.
Like,
I didn't kill your mom. Figure it out. You got rich friends now. Can you vibrate through the wall and get me out of here? Wait, you can go back in time? Go back in time and save your mom. That'll be the whole fucking problem we have in the next movie for Flash. Bruce, then we get the thing with the Smallville house, Martha's house. They're moving her back in. Fuck
About
having
the
a nice little apartment by the job, Martha. You got to live in this giant house and fucking sit here and be sad all the time because Jonathan's dead.
Live
your
by
son's never
yourself
here.
in this giant house. You were living in town before we had lots of life, but we'll get.
But her and Lois are being all cute going in, and this is the thing of like, how'd you get the house back? I bought the bank, and then congratulations, meaning that she's pregnant, or at least that's how we all interpret it, and how the movies were supposed to play out from what we understand. And it ends with, you know what? Cyborg's like standing at his mom and dad's grave, and he's like, the tape ends, and he's like, you know what? I am pretty cool being a robot. He just gets all naked and shimmies out of his sweatpants.
No.
Nah, he's like, I'll leave this trash here because I'm shedding this thing, and I'm cyborg. Booyah. He doesn't say it, but he does. Everybody fucking thinks it. You know you're thinking it. He gets up there, Beast Boy pops out, Teen Titans Go. Great cartoon. He flies away. Then it's a bunch of quick stuff. What the fuck's
jail
Wonder Woman?
sequence.
Yeah, no, we're not there yet. There's still more in this montage. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's got the arrow. She's looking longingly at Themyscira. Batman's on his bat tank from Dark Knight. He's looking at Commissioner Gordon flipped on the signal. He's looking at the signal. Barry's just running, and he's super fucking happy to be running. And then
With
Superman.
Batman, like, why the fuck was he in a tank? Is he in Gotham still?
He's
Like,
ready
why
for
is
anything now. Ready for anything now.
A tank in the middle of a city? That seems like a
Hey,
bad
Darkseid's
call,
coming.
right?
Darkseid's coming at some point. Darkseid's coming at some point.
All right.
Just
You gotta be
sit and wait. You got to be ready.
Gotta get ready. And then
tube.
we get the boom tube. We get the Superman moment from Justice League. That's very classic Superman of him in like the 3-piece suit with the trench coat on or whatever. I guess not 3-piece, but the suit and the trench coat on. And then here's something. Takes off the glasses, puts his head down, and runs into the alleyway. Rips open his shirt, and it's not the red and blue back. It is in fact him still wearing the black one with the silver S on it.
What'd that do for you?
I didn't think it was black. I thought it was like a different blue color scheme. I thought it was just like a brand new sort of thing. It looked a lot cooler than
What did it do for me? It did not do what it did for me in the Whedon cut. As you know, again, I don't like that movie, but I always talk about that first 15 minutes is where I would have started the DCEU of the Truth or Justice. I'm a big fan of Justice. I'm also a big fan of Truth. And it's all fucking fun, and they split apart the boxes. And you're like, I wish I was dead. And they laugh like they're old friends, which of course they aren't. And this is a forced moment in a bad film. But then, like, I've talked about it obviously on the show before of him running and doing it and having the red emblem on the yellow with the blue. And I fucking love that. This one, I still love, but it doesn't give me chills like it did before. I think it narratively makes sense for what they're doing. I think it's an interesting move that he wasn't going to go back to the blues in Snyder's, that he was going to stay in the black with the silver, as we saw. Because when they get the vision of Darkseid putting his hand on him, I was like, oh, this is just based at the time of a vision of what could be. But you see it here. Oh, he was going to keep that suit. That was what he was going to do. Very interesting. I would have liked to have seen. I assume the end of all of this would have seen him go back to the red and blue, right, and be that kind of Superman. But either way, still a cool moment. I still like him doing it and running and yanking it open or whatever. However, then is the Lex scene. Then we get the, again, extended Lex scene of Arkham where everybody comes out of their cells, but Lex doesn't. The guard goes in there, spins him around. It's not Lex. It's some other bald dude. And then we get, a shot of a yacht and a boat coming up to the yacht. And then the boat is Deathstroke. And they get out of there and they come up there. And Luthor's there, again, looking very much like the Luthor you would have thought they would have started. Bald in a fucking dope-ass suit, baller-ass yacht, champagne there, right? And Deathstroke comes up, and he takes off his mask. It's Joe Manganiello, and he's the guy. He was the werewolf on True Blood. It's that guy. He's that guy.
Joe Manganiello.
Award-winning, Rank Those Abs winner.
Yeah, award-winning.
3 times in a row.
You missed it, Greg. Well, we can go back and do Magic Mike series if you want, Greg. We'll do it again for you.
I mean, I could watch him. I don't have to.
Joe Manganiello's goatee looks just like so crispy and crunchy. Mm-hmm. Peanut buttery butterfinger. Like,
yep, exactly.
It looks like each hair follicle is at least a centimeter thick. I don't know what it is and what they did to like dye it, but it just looks ridiculous. It looks a little too much.
I love Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. It's dumb and it doesn't work most of the time, but I still love it.
It works here, right? I think it works here. Like,
I don't think it works because it works in the sense of like he seems like Lex Luthor, but he just has too much information. And like, who the fuck is Deathstroke? Like, why are we adding more shit to this movie with characters? Like, I get that it's the end and it's like, oh, we got to set up the next one, but like that's not what a movie should be all the time. Sometimes,
sure,
but it's like even those teases should be built up a little bit more. Like at least with the Atom dude, we saw him earlier in the movie. They kind of like had moments that showed him doing those things, and like we saw Lex for a second earlier, but
also like Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse, sit down, Jesse, real quick. Like you're hiring an assassin, and we just saw them take down an alien force. Let's think bigger, Jesse. Let's think bigger.
Well, he already tried that, Andy. And
you had a half Kryptonian.
Yeah, too big. Somewhere in the middle.
Now, real quick,
maybe Clayface? Can we get Clayface in here?
Keep in mind, Jesse's information came from Steppy, though, with the mother boxes and stuff. So there might have been a promise that I'd eradicate the heroes that were troubling you, and you can help rule Earth or whatever. We'd get what we want, and you'd still have your thing. So it could have been a lie. They've shown him great power and given him great knowledge, right? Because that was his thing when he showed up in BVS, and he was like show me everything. Or that's not exactly.
I would
what he
love
said,
that
but,
the mother boxers are like, we told him to get just a regular human to take on Batman and Superman. It's fucking
dude,
idiot.
we
Mother
fucking
Box-
told him.
Mother Box
It's
is like,
fucking stupid, dude.
and then the guy showed up in full costume. He's just in costume for no reason.
He came up on a little speedboat.
They made him ride it. If that guy falls into the ocean, he's dying. He can't swim in that costume.
And he tells him, in fact, that Bruce Wayne's Batman. And then Joe Magnoliolo has a bunch of, she's ashing champagne because he's like, you know what? Let's celebrate after all. And then boom. It's Nightmare Part 2, ladies and gentlemen. We have parademons in the orange sky flying around. All hell's breaking loose. It looks like they fly off, though. And they're like, we're clear. And Batman stands up, and then Cyborg shows up, and Deathstroke's there, and Mara's there, and then Flash is there in the outfit, or a very similar outfit to the one he ran back in time with for Batman v Superman in the Nightmare sequence there. In fact, some would even argue probably just the same CG model, because he does not look good and does not get featured heavily in this.
Looks
So
awful.
probably the same thing there, that it because it even does like the same opening thing from Batman v Superman, but I could
But
totally
it's
be
like,
wrong
man,
about
we
that.
could like deep fake technology can
It's so good.
make stuff look better than what
Ezra
this
Miller
is.
could have zoomed into this call and like
we
you
could
know, they
have
could have
put
figured it out.
We could have put a
did.
fake mustache on Ezra Miller. What? I don't get it.
And the final person, of course, the Joker is there, who's not in there. And Mara is talking about how much she fucking hates Superman and how much she hates everything that's going on. He killed Arthur, and we're going to get him. And Batman says something. She's like, what would you know about losing a loved one? And Batman kind of clams up about it. And that's when Joker intervenes. Like, oh, he know a lot. He know a lot about it. Yeah, mother, her father. And he's like, choose your next words very carefully. And he's like, an adoptive son. And Batman comes over there, and him and Joker just fucking jaw at each other, and I fucking love it. I'll give me an entire fucking movie of these two just yelling at it, just talking to each other. You know what I mean? And they're going back and forth about Jason Todd or whatever. Robin is dead. We're not 100% sure, or I'm not, at least. Maybe it has been in some other millions of interviews that I've seen. Yes, Andy.
They also didn't like. I'm kind of just watching it right now, and just to make sure that I didn't listen to anything, because I always do. But this whole time, I didn't know that they were talking about Superman until we see Superman come down. Because they just keep saying, let the bastard come. I'll fucking kill the bastard. I'm going to kill this man, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So to me, as a viewer who doesn't know that, I assume they're talking about Darkseid. I assume they're talking about any other bad
I think
guy.
they
So-
might want you to. I think that's,
Yeah.
you know, if you
so
don't
that
understand
reveal
it,
is
that works for
pretty
you?
cool for me, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And so, yeah, you know, there's the ups and downs of this conversation, I think, are as usual, right? I really dig it. I enjoy the fading in and out of focus, the punching of it, of, you know, like, why send a boy wonder to do a man's job, and them going like that, and then but then it's like the weird thing of like, you want to kill me, who's gonna give you a reach around? And like, feel free to go back and watch that. Who's gonna give you a reach around? They hang on Batman's reaction. Even he's like
thinking about it. He's like, fuck, you're making a good point. Who is going to give you a reach?
who will give me a reach around? Very weird one.
What you need to do is go back and watch, Ben Affleck's reaction, because it's not that he really hangs there. He
He just kind of falls asleep for a second.
No, he like adjusts himself in his suit without the suit moving. Like only his face moves in the suit, and it's just such a weird fucking moment. Like
all the footage they
I
had.
saw you tweet that you loved this, Greg. I just like.
Oh, I know I'm in the minority.
just-
You're all free to tear it apart. I loved seeing Batman and Joker talk finally on screen. I love the idea that they're finally talking about the jokes on you, Batman, ha 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 thing in the fucking Batcave. I like the performance of Jared Leto here as Joker. I think the Suicide Squad was a whole different story or whatever, but for everything that happens here, I really enjoy. I enjoy the flourish with the card. I enjoy the idea of this truce, Bruce. Whenever you want to talk about it, you can tear it in half, and we'll discuss why a boy wonder was sent to do a man's job. And it's layering in the same thing that we talked about way earlier, right? Of like, this is Lois's death is what kicked this all off, right? You created this by letting her die. How many alternate timelines are there where, you still are so stupid you don't save yourself, or you don't give yourself up, let yourself die to save her, to not let this happen, kind of thing. And then the card and the truth, and then and granted, it's like fucking Ben Affleck from a Kevin Smith movie, which I dig, but like the whole like, when I kill you, and I fucking will kill you, right? Blah, blah, blah. And he does the whole thing of like, And it's funny when you, because it reminds you so much, especially for us as the in review crew. It reminds you so much of like a Holden moment yelling at Banky, or even a Shannon moment, I guess, from Mallrats yelling at Jason Lee there, Brody. But here, there's that, and then it's it's funny you mentioned somebody dying, and how many people are gonna die in my arms? Because when Harley Quinn was dying in my arms, bleeding out in my arms, maybe, she begged me that when I kill you, and I fucking will kill you, to do it slowly, and I plan to make good on that promise. And then he takes the card. And that's then obviously when he's here, and it's Superman comes down, and everybody's like, boom, everybody gets ready, and Joker just laughs. And then Bruce wakes up. I do want to deconstruct this scene because I've said my piece. I really enjoy it. You're all free to take it out back and beat it to death now.
I mean, it's not even so much that. It's like, because it's weird. I enjoyed this scene a lot, and it's not good at all. It's, I think, really, really bad, actually. But it's different and it's an exciting look at what these superheroes can be in a way we've never seen them before. At least I've never seen them before. And that's kind of my problem with so much of this is I'd rather have seen this story. Like, let us see this. And I understand it's like, oh, that's what the next one would be. It's like, well, I didn't really like what this one was. Like, you could have just not done this. Speed up a lot of the process to get to these cool parts, because you already set up the Flash coming back in Batman v Superman. Like, let's just get into the story. You can work backwards because it's a parallel timeline. Like, we could start this movie with them all as the League. We don't need to see the League form. If you're going to jump to making the League this quickly with only 3 movies, just have them be the League, and then we can work backwards and be like, okay, this is how they got there, because that stuff's cool. That stuff's interesting. I mean, they're doing it somewhat with like, oh shit, Joker's here, which is random as fuck, really, for Snyder. Like the Snyderverse. It's like this Jared Leto Joker we've only seen in Suicide Squad, which ties into this stuff, but like loosely, And I just think that it's confusing, and especially coming after the movie we just watched, it's just like you really just had to have some little extra moments of taking your vision to that next step. And I love that it ends with Bruce waking up and Martian Manhunter showing up, and it's like, okay, why not?
Real quick, the Joker card, was that this, like, that card looked very similar to the card that was in Dark Knight, right? Or
I think
Batman
it also looks
Begins?
similar to the Joker card that blew in the wind in that teaser thing they'd put out about the nightmare scene.
Which is in the Cyborg Vision thing.
Yeah, but Superman's there now, and a dead Green Lantern's there.
But it's cut in half.
Oh, neat! I didn't know that. Thank you, Tim.
But like, I was just trying to think that through, and like, I can't think of a reason that actually adds up and makes sense, because that's a whole movie that they didn't make. I don't know, but that could be interesting.
The events that Cyborg saw would have happened before this nightmare dream that we see, right? Because if we really want to get fucking dorky about this nightmare scene, I tear the card in half and I'll get fucking dorky about it, right? Let's do
they
it.
get out of this.
Tear the card in half. I'll give you that reach around.
Batman gets out of this. They might not all get out of this, but Batman gets out of this because the BVS nightmare scene is him getting captured and murdered. So either these are just possible futures, or for sure they go to war with Superman and they have some ace up their sleeve that gets them out of this. Maybe, and Batman gets away.
But what I'm saying is that the Cyborg dream, in it, he sees Aquaman get like stabbed and someone else get the Omega Beam's dead.
Yeah, Darkseid.
That's probably what they were talking about, right? And they're like, oh,
I mean, yeah, it's Darkseid conquering Earth.
Joker says there's Batman fucked this up a whole bunch. So the Batman vs Superman one could just be a different timeline.
Yeah, he mentions how many other timelines have used.
How the fuck does Joker know that?
That's my thing, is with all the, I don't know if that is an actual timeline thing. I think that could be as simple as you and me being like, we're bullshitting around about like, what if we didn't leave IGN in an alternate timeline? I think it could also just be, the plan is to go back and alter time. So like they would know that there are alternate timelines, but I don't read it.
That's the thing. There are multiple timelines. We know that because that's the whole thing with this, and with Flash going back and Flash doing the things he's been doing is fucking it all up, creating different timelines. So
Kevin, I sent an image to assets. Can you bring it up?
But to them, this is their first time doing it. They don't know they've done it a million times. I mean, they know that there's an.
Joker straight up says that. So it's like,
he's a Joker. So but again, like, I mean, then we're just talking about the possibility of alternate timelines. I don't think that. Whatever. We don't have to go over and over again. I'm sorry.
I mean, to me, this is the point of this, is like trying to actually make sense of what we just watched, because it doesn't make sense.
I mean, I think that you're thinking of an MCU explanation.
I'm not.
I mean, you are like we don't like. Perhaps them going back in time changes the timeline that are on, and Joker is just talking about like multiverse stuff.
Perhaps.
You know what I mean? Like,
But how
but
come-
assuming the opposite is just as true as assuming what I'm saying, because they haven't defined how time works. Because what we've seen is in this movie, they
true.
went back in time, and that affected their reality. In the MCU, that wouldn't work. If you go back in time, you would be in a new reality, right?
Branches off.
And then you'd have to use the watch to resync to the original reality.
Oh, wow, let's not
Where the
start this
changes
conversation,
don't.
man.
But you get what I'm saying?
MCU into this. But yeah,
But
but what
that's
I'm saying
that's
is
what I'm
just like,
saying.
I don't-
In
okay,
this
who cares if they're
DCEU
actual parallel timelines or if it's just one timeline with a bunch of different changes that keep going back and forth and rewriting over each other? The Batman scene from Batman v Superman could have been rewritten over and not been the same timeline we see at the end of this.
I mean, I just don't know why we would assume that. Like, shouldn't we assume that it's the same timeline that leads into this?
Well, just because Joker literally said, like, how many times did you fail? And that's one where he fails.
What I didn't like is that we didn't get to see Superman race Flash.
Bruce wakes up from his nightmare, and as we already said, he comes outside. Martian Manhunter's there, being like, you know what? I'll finally fucking do something. I've been around. I saw Zod come to town. I was like, I'll still be Swanwick. I saw you fucking Superman lose faith in everything and leave, and fucking Lex Luthor try to make you guys kill each other. I'll stay on the fucking sidelines. I saw Doomsday. I saw them launch nukes and kill Superman, and I was still like, I'm gonna stay here with Colonel Ferris and
fucking
not go
hate
out there.
I hate this because like Bruce Wayne just being like, cool, yeah.
He was so
See you
weird.
around, I guess.
He was like
Has
a
no
different
idea-
character.
It would have made sense if he walked back in and be like, we got the Manhunter, Alfred, or something like maybe if he knew about him beforehand, but acted like he didn't know, acted a little coy with him. But he's just like this green man comes floating down, and he's like, cool, yeah, you could join the team.
Well, it's
And
like-
he's so trusting right off the bat. It makes no sense. Like
yeah, at this point, I
You've
guess he
seen some
trusts
crazy
everyone.
shit, man.
He trusts everyone because hey, we have Superman. That's our trump card. No one can stop him. You know, like I'm not scared anymore. Doomsday come, we'll get him. This Martian Manhunter, he's bad.
Doomsday
Nah.
come. We want to go home.
also, this is
Got it.
also this is clearly a reshoot because Ben Affleck looked like the thinnest and most
he
fit
was.
he's
He was
been.
not the same Ben Affleck.
But in some of the moments I wanted to cut this out because it's a little harder to tell here, but in the movement and my mind wants to say animation because some of it looks fake and I don't know what's weird about it, but it might be the lighting, but when he's kind of talking to the camera in those moments, it looks really weird and off, and I thought some of it might have been fake, but I think it's just maybe the lighting that they're using. It reminds me of the PlayStation conference where everybody thought people was CG on
I
screen.
can't believe there was nothing came from that. I'm shocked.
Dude, bring that up again, Kev. That hell looks like Nolan North. It's weird.
Oh yeah, you're kind of right.
It's really weird.
And Batman says, or Bruce Wayne says, I'll see you around, or I see you around, I guess, or whatever, something like that.
But like he
And,
acted weird, right? Like he was acting really odd. Of like, yeah, come hang out, be part of the team. We do barbecues every Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Wonder was like, "Did you invite him to the fucking barbecue?" I freaked. I don't know. I didn't know what to say. I got nervous. I
He's an
invited him to the
alien.
barbecue.
Remember last time we brought an
Very
alien?
much.
but
That made everything
it's a tacked
better.
on thing, and it's a weird. I think it's a tacked on weird thing, and it's definitely. What's your name? He's like, I've gone by many names. Yada yada yada. Talk. And to answer your question, some people call me the Martian Manhunter, and I'm a fan. And I'm just like, when you say your name's John Jones, like why would you
John
say it like, you know
Jones
what I
is your
mean?
name.
It's like
Yeah.
me showing up and being like, some people call me CEO of Kind of Funny, and I fly away. You're like, what, you have a fucking name?
thanks.
That's your title. I don't know what.
That's like saying
Fucking
some
weird.
people call me Game Over Greg. We're like, well, what do people in real life call you? Oh, just Greg. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mostly
Greg Miller.
Yeah,
That's
just
my name.
Greg,
Sorry.
usually, yeah.
Sorry.
That's how it's on my
Another
driver's
black
license.
screen and the words "For Autumn." Of course, this was dedicated to Zach's daughter Autumn, who took her own life when they were making it the first time around. And of course, then "Hallelujah" plays. It's sang by Allison Crowe. It's a friend of the family who sang it during her Autumn's funeral as well. So of course, worth pointing out that if you ever need help, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. And that's Zack Snyder's The Justice League.
Andy, hit me with a little haiku and review.
Give me like 2 seconds.
I'm gonna give you a build up, Andy.
I'm almost there. 1 second. 7 over the middle. You need 5 for the last line. If you're not poetic, no need to fret it. Haikus don't need to rhyme. Haiku in review. Haiku in review.
No, stop.
You can go to patreon.com/kindafunny to write your review in haiku form, just like Ignacio Rojas did, who says, more word music, more plot, more scenes, more word dialogue. Not better, just more. Cameron Kennedy says, somehow coherent, not bad enough to amuse. It just felt joyless. Zaid Wilson says, and there came a day,
Nice.
much unlike any other, when Earth's mightiest became united against a common threat in a league of their own. By Bruce,
Great
they were
movie.
led. Clark, back from the dead. Diana, she went for the head.
Aha.
There we go.
Nice.
Samuel Griffin says, a better cut, but Snyder wastes a lot of time. Icelandic singing? And then
Not on my
miscellaneous,
dime.
miscellaneous, of course, coming in with the plot in review. Mother box montage. Batman visits Aqua Lodge, forming entourage. Steppenwolf invades. Amazons show up in spades. Not enough. They're blades. Now here comes the Blur. Saves a girl. Gets weird with her. Start on Monday? Sure. Super life renewed. But his memories elude. Steppy got the cube. Team formed. They attack until the league starts to crack. Superman's back. Time. Barry must mend. Against Darkseid, they defend. Fuck the rest. The end. And there
That's
we
pretty
go.
good.
There
That's
it
pretty
is.
good.
Ragu bagu, baby.
Ragu. Bagu.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys, the podcast within a podcast where we rank and review the villains of the DCEU. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Nick, Kevin, Andy, Cecil, and Tim. Right now, to refresh you and your memories, let's go through the current standings for the 9 villains we have on Ragu Bagu. Number 1, Black Mask and Zaz from Birds of Prey. Number 2, Zod from Man of Steel. Number 3, Doomsday / Lex Luthor from Batman v Superman. Number 4, Maxwell Lord / Cheetah from Wonder Woman 1984. Number 5, Thad. And I believe that's Thad's from Shazam. Is that right? Where's Thad from?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Shazam.
it was.
That's right. You nailed it.
Number 6 is Sir Pat from Wonder Woman. Number 7 is Ocean Master / Manga from Aquaman. Number 8 is Steppenwolf from John
Manga.
Sweden's Justice League. And number 9 is Enchantress and her baby bro from Suicide Squad. Where do we want to put Steppenwolf and I assume Darkseid? We're tossing that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to, yeah.
I'd
What
go
was
somewhere in the
3?
middle of the list. I do like how desperate Steppenwolf was this whole time.
Number 3 is Doomsday Lex.
What's one below that?
Maxwell Lord Cheetah.
That's it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'll say I like Steppenwolf a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, I found him a lot deeper in this movie than he was in the theatrical release. I think they made steps to sort of round out his story a little bit. So I do think I would nudge him a little higher up on the list. We don't really know a lot about Doomsday, though. I mean, other than the obvious. Or Darkseid, sorry. We don't spend a lot of time with him. So
My thing, I would come higher than all y'all, and I'd put him at 3, right below Zod, right above Doomsday Lex.
yeah, I'd probably say that maybe.
I'd put
See,
it at 4.
I disagree because Batman v Superman, I think what it did well was kind of like set up the premise of the two of them coming together. That was totally Lex. And I again, like Lex in that movie. And Doomsday, whatever, serves purpose, just being a thing that punches things and kills things. That definitely was not that interesting. But I think the Lex side is way more interesting than anything Steppenwolf does.
I think Lex is interesting, but I didn't like. And there's so many times I don't like the performance. Like I've come to accept it and like find things I like in it, but overall, I don't think it works as a giant thing. And like why he goes from being a running LexCorp to then being this maniac that wants to destroy everything and everybody. I don't like. Whereas I think this way all the way through, I really enjoy Steppenwolf's motivation of like I'm trying to earn my way back into the family here. I'm trying to get back in the good graces of this guy that I screwed over, and then on top of that, Darkseid being this, I think, truly intimidating, horrible bad guy on the other side of the world, right? And that moment where they all kneel for him and stuff like that. Like I like that. I think both of them are strong. Both parts of the villains are strong in this one. Whereas Doomsday obviously is just something that shows up to fucking get punched and kill Superman. Whereas Lex, I find things I like in him, but I don't think overall I'd be like, oh yeah, great villain.
Yeah, again, I was mentioning earlier, I love the desperation in Steppenwolf and how he wants to make up for the bad he's done, and he's so desperate to do so. And there's that moment when Superman comes back and he's like, fuck, god damn it, like I was so close to doing this. And then through the portal they see Darkseid. He's like, he's here, holy fuck, he's here. And you could see how much he adores and respects Darkseid, even though he may have fucked him over in the past. We don't know the full story there or whatever, but I didn't expect to like Darkseid or Steppenwolf at all, right? Because he was so shitty. That's why we have him ranked so low on the first version of it. And I thought, again, kind of a cheat code to have a 4-hour movie to flesh out a character more, but it worked for me. It worked way more than it did in the prior version.
I do want to say that Greg, I think you made a lot of great points, but Darkseid did get the axe to the thing, and then he immediately passed out because I guess he bled out too much. So,
well, actually,
not
backstory wise,
strong.
Zack Snyder wrote out that he has that problem where he sees blood, he faints.
Yeah,
that's a Zack Snyder thing. But then,
again, I like that though. I also don't like the DC comic book or animated series sometimes where Darkseid's just like, nothing could stop this guy. I'm like, well, I mean, don't get me wrong, you shouldn't get shot by a shotgun. That was a axe wielded by God, a literal God, right? Like, I can get down with that. Anyways, let's get this vote in. I'm going to start at, I don't even know. I'll start at number 5. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So number 5 is Thad. Who thinks he's better than Thad? Or these people are better than Thad?
Jesus.
Everyone's hands up except Andy. Oh, everyone's hands are up. Number 4. Who thinks he's better than Maxwell Lord / Cheetah?
I hated Cheetah, but I thought
it's a
Pedro Pascal's so good and entertaining.
Sure. Tim put his hand down.
I will say no.
Put it down.
I'll say no.
All right, so Andy and Tim don't have their hands raised. Me, Nick, and Kevin do. Who thinks it's better than Doomsday and Lex at number 3? I have my hand up. It looks like Nick does.
I'll throw it up.
And then Kevin put it down. It doesn't matter either way. So the new ranking then is number 3 is Doomsday and Lex, and number 4 is in fact Steppenwolf or Steppy and Darkseid.
Step off.
So now it is time to rank the DCEU. Currently number 1, Birds of Prey. Number 2, Wonder Woman. Number 3, Shazam. Number 4, Batman v Superman. Number 5, Man of Steel. Number 6, Aquaman. Number 7, Wonder Woman 1984. Number 8 has this nice little open spot. Number 9 is the Justice League. And number 10 is Suicide Squad. Where do we want to put Zack Snyder's Justice League? Greg Miller, would you like to start the conversation?
It's an interesting question, Timothy. I would like to start it. I am feeling my heart pull it to number 6, below Man of Steel, above Aquaman.
Man, I would have put it so much higher. Like
Go for it. Don't
all these movies have their issues. Like here's the thing.
Of course.
I think I like Shazam better, but I like this better than Wonder Woman.
You're in one of those spots.
Yeah.
We'll call it in those spots.
Yeah. I think, and again, it's more like 2 movies because of how much time we get. But I think I honestly would put it at number 2.
Andy?
I'm leaning more towards Kevin here. But I think back to how much I enjoyed the director's cut of BVS and feeling like that got fleshed out a bit more. Shazam making me laugh a whole lot. Not a great movie by any means, but entertaining through a lot of it. Like I had a lot of fun with Shazam. I think I would put this below Batman. I would put this below Shazam at number 4, above Batman versus Superman.
Nick.
I would be probably more in the Greg boat. I'd put this a little lower. I really, I had fun with the second part of this, but the first part of it's just so very long that I can't rank it. I can't put it above Man of Steel by any stretch of the imagination. I think Man of Steel just has way higher highs than this movie. The question is, do I like it more than Aquaman? I'd probably put it right below Man of Steel, I would say.
I go one below Nick. I'd put it under Aquaman, above Wonder Woman 1984. The real reason for the Wonder Woman 1984 thing is that movie just had so much potential that they just fucking squandered. Like, I expected that to be good.
Trash. That
As
was
opposed to Aquaman, where you were like, huh, it was fun.
Yeah.
like,
I mean, even as opposed to
It was
Justice
actually fun.
League, where I didn't expect it to be. So what it was didn't like upset me. You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, cool. It was what it is. But yeah, I think it's better than Suicide Squad, Justice League, and Wonder Woman 1984. So let's vote here. Who thinks it's better than Wonder Woman 1984? Raise your hand. Everybody. Aquaman, raise your hand. Everyone but me. Man of Steel.
I'm getting close there. Now I'm fucking up because I'm in one of those spots. I think Man of Steel should be a bit higher. I'll keep my hands up.
My thing is, I mean,
Doesn't matter, you lost.
Yeah, Kevin and
it's-
Andy raised their hand. Everyone else put it down. So that puts this between Man of Steel and Aquaman at number 6.
this is I'm we have to go movie by movie when we do this, because I would rather watch this than Shazam personally, but getting into the whole thing of like, that's where it's coming down for me, of like, I can see on a rainy day wanting to kick on Man of Steel more than wanting to put on the 4-hour 5-minute long art piece and going like, where are you jumping to, what are you doing, like where are you getting like the through line story for it or whatever.
I think of the movies that are like, oh, it's on HBO. Do I want to sit down and watch it for a second? And for sure, Birds of Prey, I would watch that. And Man of Steel, I would watch that. Everything else, Wonder Woman, probably. Shazam, probably not. I don't think I need to see that movie again. So this one, definitely not. I mean, for 4 hours more of a Justice League, I think this is the one and only time I'm going to watch this bad boy.
I just saw a great tweet from Ray Apollo, works at Twitch, and he said, how am I going to convince my wife to watch a 4-hour movie that she's already seen?
Well, speaking of that, did Jen watch?
Oh no! I mean, like, she did, but fell asleep. Like, Jen is not somebody who is going to stay up and watch a movie at 1:30 a.m. with me. No, she tried valiantly, but fell asleep and has not expressed any interest in watching it again. But back to talking about things we love unabashedly, right? She was half watching Falcon Winter Soldier this morning and was like, "Oh man, can we watch it again tonight?" And I was like, "Fuck yes, we can." Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
See, I didn't even. I'm the opposite, but I didn't even try to talk to D about watching the Justice League, the Snyder Cut.
Sure.
I'm waiting like a little bit to try to like throw in Falcon and Winter Soldier, maybe episode 2, 3, when I know for sure. I mean, I know the series is gonna be great, but I want her to get on that boat. That's where I'm gonna put the energy.
Yeah, Gia is a completionist when it comes to watching TV shows or movies or stuff. So she loves doing an review, even if it's for stuff that's not normally her jam. And at this point, she's seen so many of these fucking superhero movies. And we started watching this about 20 minutes in. She's like, is it okay if I just don't watch this one? I'm like, it's
She's
totally
like,
okay.
I gotta get out of here.
But we will return with more in review. Later this week, it will be Godzilla, King of the Monsters, to continue the Godzilla monsterverse leading into Godzilla vs. Kong, which at the time of watching this now is next week. That's really exciting stuff. HBO Max delivering Justice League, Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat after that.
Yeah,
Let's
keep
go.
me busy. I love it.
One quick, and I think, my math is right here. Snyder Cut, it was 4 hours, 5 minutes, right, on HBO Go, or was it 4 hours, 2 minutes?
I got 2.
Okay, 4 hours, 2 minutes. Kind of funny. Snyder Cut in review is 4 hours and 50 minutes. So we did it, y'all.
We did it. We did it.
It needed to
Good
be
job,
done.
guys. Until next time.
I'm going to sleep.
Not impressed.